What is up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night. Welcome to the conclusion of Actionfest 2025. And tonight, we're capping it all off with a franchise review that's been a long time coming. This is something I have planned on for a few years. We're finally here. We're going to be talking about the entire Terminator film franchise. That's right, all 6 Terminator films. The Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Genisys, and Dark Fate, all discussed here with me and the panel tonight. We are going with it. We're going for it, including Jelani is joining us. What's up, Jelani? Excited to talk about the Terminator franchise?
Yeah, man, I'm super excited, actually. I was super pumped until I saw the last 2. But it is what it is. I'm so excited to talk about an action movie franchise that is really hit and really miss. I'm really excited. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm excited about hits and I'm excited about misses. And the most excited I've ever been for a miss has been Brooks. What's up, Brooks? How you doing, my man?
What's up?
Excited to talk about Terminator tonight?
I am. I always did love. I've only seen the first 2, of course, but this gave me an excuse to finally check the rest off of my bucket list.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We also got joining us the better half of Geeks Unleashed. It's Jasmine here with her first franchise review on PCP. What's up, Jasmine?
What is up, fellas? Very happy to be here. Very excited. I don't know if you guys can ever tell, but the little Abby that I have on all the platforms is actually me as a Terminator. So big fan of the Terminator franchise.
Heck yeah. And we can't have a franchise review that's going to have a bunch of ups and downs in it without having our main critic here. It's Joe Corallo. What is up, my man?
Hello, it's true. I'm Joe. I'm excited. Similar to maybe some of the people on the panel, and I hope for some people listening, I use this as an excuse to finally watch all of the Terminator movies because there were a couple there I had not seen before. Similar to Police Academy, and it turns out the Police Academy movies I didn't see weren't the best in the franchise, and I think that holds with Terminator.
Well, I think there are a lot of similarities between Terminator and Police Academy, right?
So I do too, and I think we're going to be spending most of the stream discussing those, right?
Yeah, of course.
People listening.
I may have had more fun rewatching the Terminator franchise, but I don't know. It's kind of all there. But I did buy this.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I did buy this because it was on a Prime Day sale or something for $15. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's go for it. And I had never seen Genisys or Dark Fate until this last week. And I watched them in a double feature, and that was a really rough night. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. So let's start at the beginning. The Terminator, 1984, James Cameron. We all know this movie. We know it very well, and a lot of us love this film. It was made for a $6.4 million budget. It made $78.3 million at the box office, a bona fide success. And this is a movie that I liked, and I remember it growing up. But for me, T2 was more my jam. And I loved T2 as a kid. And whenever I would watch Terminator, it wasn't as funny. It didn't have, quite the pace, I think, right? It feels to me like the first Terminator takes forever to end, not quite in a Return of the King kind of way, but it's it also shows the unstoppable nature of the Terminator, right? And I remember rewatching this film in my early 20s and really appreciating it because I'm like, this is Mike Myers, this is Jason Voorhees, this is a horror film, right? And it's kind of like Alien to Aliens. You got a horror film that goes into an action film, right? With a lot of cutesy fun humor and shit like that. But the first Terminator film to me is rather brilliant. And it's brilliant because it's a cool concept that was very original at the time, even though Harlan Ellison, I believe, sued James Cameron because I think that they weren't aware, but it does very much seem like one of his novels or one of his short stories that he wrote.
Demon with the Glass Hand.
Okay.
It was an Outer Limits episode. There was another Outer Limits episode called Soldier about a soldier who went back to the present from the future to do a mission. So there's a couple of things, but yeah.
Yeah, so they settled with him. They gave him some money, and everything was happy and hunky dory. And of course, this helped make the career of James Cameron. Right? It got him the Aliens gig. It got him to the point where he's able to do whatever the hell he wants to now because he made a couple Terminator films. That's basically it. If you look at James Cameron, and I get it, Titanic's a pretty big deal, but Titanic wouldn't have happened without the success of the Terminator franchise, right? So I really like the first film. I think it's great. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger was not really a marketable star when they cast him in this movie. Originally, this whole concept comes from James Cameron, a nightmare that he had about a metal skeleton hunting somebody down, probably after he ate a bunch of pizza, falling asleep, watching some Outer Limits episodes. I don't know. But I like it. And like, so Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't a bankable star. And initially he had written this script, or he had written this role for Lance Hendrickson. And he wanted him to be like, he's supposed to be an infiltration unit, and nothing stands out more in a crowd than Arnold frickin' Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? But the way he was able to portray those robotic movements, I love Arnold in this movie. I love Linda Hamilton in this movie. Hell, I love Michael Biehn in this movie. I think it's really solid. I don't think it's the best of the franchise. That's been over the last couple of weeks as I've been watching these Terminator films and has been chatting with people, you know, at work or in life. The big contention is what's better, 1 or 2. And I'm like, well, why can't both just be great for different reasons? You know what I'm saying? But I think the first Terminator film is absolutely brilliant. I think it stands the test of time. The effects by Stan Winston are absolutely amazing. It helped make and solidify his career as well. So James Cameron, Stan Winston, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, 3 careers that were made because of this movie. It's definitely important in the annals of film history in America. I think it's top notch, and on the rewatch, I loved it just as much. What about you, Jelani? What did you think about it overall? And then give us your rating out of 5, you digs. You out there in the chat, what do you rate the first Terminator film?
Yeah, so I watched this series backwards, just to let you know that first. I've never done a Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to. It was impossible for me not to watch the garbage first and just get it over. That's a lie down there, Patrick. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But I watched them backwards. So I watched Terminator last night, like the very first movie. So watching them backwards, by the way, that's trippy. That is an actual trip because, like, once I got to the Terminator, I started to realize, and even though I've seen all these except for the last 2, I'm beginning how much these other movies rip off this first one and like riff off the first one. Not so much T2, but T1 and T2 are all like this microcosm. It's this thing where they are. No one should have touched them. We shouldn't have done anything else. We should have stopped there. Terminator is over. We can live our lives, or you can reboot it if you want, whatever. But nah, it's like it should have been like Back to the Future. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. It doesn't need to be a trilogy. But Terminator itself, and I'll go back since I've seen it now. I saw it fresh on my mind yesterday. When I was a kid, this scared the shit out of me. This is one of the movies I had never been so scared of the future in all of my life. Like, I'm still worried about AI now. Like, what are they gonna do just to get us all killed? So, with this movie, it's great. It scares the shit out of me still. The music is haunting. James Cameron is a genius. I don't care what anyone says at this point. Jimmy C, you the man. You know exactly how to tell a story. It does drag in places. And the best part of the movie is Al-Bibak, and Arnold drives through and hits that guy in the car and just starts killing cops. Which, by the way, fuck the police. So I like that whole scene. That's my favorite scene in that entire movie. Also, the scene that terrifies me the most is when they're in the final section of the third act, where it's like the Terminator's already been blown up, Michael Bihn's dead, and the Terminator is crawling towards Sarah. It's some of the scariest crap I've ever seen. It still terrifies me to this day that Stan Winston was able to create a Terminator robot that scary, that awful feeling of dread that you get with that scene. It still bothers me to this day. Even watching it last night, I'm like, oh my god, that's too much to work with. It's shot well. I don't know if I mentioned music, but I love the music. Do 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 do. Oh my god, I love the music. It's very telling. It's a very excellent film. I really, really like it. Linda Hamilton is vulnerable, but then she gains her confidence towards the end of the movie. You know, she's still scared of crap, but she's still trying to figure all this out with Michael Biehn, they're great performances. Paul Winfield is awesome in this film as the police detective trying to help. You know, I knew he was going to get dusted, but it was just... cops can't stop no Terminator. Can't nothing stop no Terminator. It can't be reasoned with, can't be bargained with. It's absolutely insane. I love the future scenes where Reese goes back and you see the practical effects. This is another thing I want to say real quick. The practical effects look way better in this movie and in T2 than they do in anything else. We'll talk about T3, but
sure.
Everything, I'll say the last three. What the hell is up with SCG? Just get somebody. There's Stan Winston people out there. Get them people. He passed away. Give it to him. To rate this movie, I will give this. It should be a 5, but I don't want to give it a 5. I am going to give it a 4.69. I give it this because, and as spoilers, T2 exists. This is a good prologue to T2. So you need this backstory to get to the real meat and potatoes, I would think, personally, of the franchise. But I'll give it 4.69 because Linda Hamilton, you can get it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it.
All right, a 4.69 from Jelani, and I love that you mentioned the music. Brad Fiedel did the score for the first two, and none of the scores in any of the other movies, and all they had to do was just mimic Brad Fiedel's score. Nobody is able to capture the beauty of the music in 1 and 2. And I'm not just talking about the do-do-do-do-do, but the wham-wham. Like, it's so, like, heartfelt, like, and it feels so epic and scary, right? It truly does paint a very, very unnerving and creepy vision of the future when humanity lets it all kind of go away to an artificial intelligence. Speaking of artificially intelligent, what about you, Brooks? You've gone through some upgrades as well. You're like Sam Worthington in Terminator Salvation. You don't even know that you're a robot. You think you're human. But anyway, why don't you tell us about The Terminator? What'd you think about it on the rewatch, and what do you rate it?
Yeah, well, like I hadn't seen The Terminator as a kid. Of course, I'd seen Terminator 2 because, like, everybody, it was like an obligation back in the day. If you were a kid, you had to see T2, or you were like a complete fucking loser and nobody respected you. So, like, I've seen T2, but I've never seen T1 until, like, I was a little older. So, like, yeah, I appreciate, like, the difference in tone of the first Terminator movie. It's more like, you know, kind of a suspenseful, almost like it's almost like a slasher, but not quite. But, like, you know, the idea that Terminator is, like, you know, this unstoppable thing, and it's like this giant muscle dude who just, like, has absolutely no regard for human life whatsoever. And, you know, one thing I do love about the Terminator movie is the kind of the amount of cop ownage that happens in them, because cops get owned all throughout, at least the first two, like, especially hard. It's because kind of to drive home the point of just how unstoppable this this machine is, like, you know, and how he doesn't. Well, in the second one, you know, he goes a little easy on him, but you know, he still owns him. But in this one, he does not give a fuck. He'll just kill anything that gets in his way. Like, and like, I love, you know, I like Tyrese as the hero too. Like, you know, because like he feels competent, but he's not like, you know, he's still like on the back foot through most of the time. On, you know, he's on the run. You know, he's just doing the best he can. Whereas up against, like, you know, this ridiculously overpowered, you know, thing. But yeah, I love, you know, some of the lines like "Come with me if you want to live," of course, the classic. I'll be back. You know.
And if you don't remember any of the best lines from Terminator 1, how could you forget them? Because they repeat them in every movie multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they make sure to throw those one-liners in pretty much every movie in some form. So yeah, and this is where it all starts. So yeah, I you know, I find it's hard for me because like it feels kind of like, you know, the aliens thing where it's like, you know, they're so like good in different ways, you know, like they're both really enjoyable movies, but in different ways. So if I had to rate the first term, I'd probably give it a 5 too, because I think it's not quite as good as T2, but like, you know, it's still like a great action kind of suspense movie. So yeah, I give it a perfect 5.
All right, a perfect score from Brooks, man. So far we got a 4.69 and a 5. What about you, Jasmine? What do you think about the first Terminator? What did you think on the rewatch? What do you rate it?
So, kind of like Jelani, this movie has a very special place in my heart. It came out the year I was born, but I saw it probably when I was like 4 years old. Because my mom was my like gateway to everything geeky that I love these days, and she was obsessed with Terminator. And I probably saw it when I was 4, and it scared me so bad that I am convinced that Terminator is the reason that I am terrified of skeletons. Because like, why the fuck did the machines need to have teeth? Like, why do they have real teeth? Right. Why is it not with metal? So the melting of the skin and the exoskeleton coming, like, terrified me for so long. But it was one of those films. It just like, it sticks with you. Like you never know who to root for. Then, you know, this guy's skin starts falling off, and oh my God, just like action. I love it. The one-liners, cheesy one-liners from the 80s are the best. So the one-liners, you know, good stuff. But the story that they're telling is wild. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're from the future and you and I are going to have a kid? Like, what is happening right now? And why is my kid the leader of the resistance? Story's really crazy. What I thought was really interesting about the first film, Cameron was so far ahead of his time. He originally wanted this first film to have the 2 Terminators come back, but he knew that the tech was not there to give him the T-1000 that we eventually get in Terminator 2. And so he left it out. And it was just his mind. I don't get it. Like, I think he's from the future, honestly. Like, so this movie to me is ahead of its time. I love the action. I love the brutality. I love just like, especially those scenes where she's being questioned by the psych doctors. Good stuff. And then the fact that we get them back in T2, love it. But just like everything and how we see her go from this nobody, this pushover, this featherweight to this like badass by the time we get to the end of the movie, where she's the one yelling at Kyle Reese, like, you better get your ass up, man. We got to go. So just like the evolution of Sarah Connor that they got in just this first film alone was phenomenal. Like, I don't think we've ever seen someone go from wallflower to boss bitch as quickly as she did in this film. So I think it really gave us one of the most iconic female characters of all time. And for that, I will forever be grateful. But also, thanks a lot for giving me nightmares about metal skeletons with human teeth. So as far as ratings go, if I'm rating this as an entire franchise, all 6 films against each other, I can't quite give it the 5. So it's got to be a 4.9.
All right, a 4.9. We'll allow it. We'll allow that.
Sure.
I love that you mentioned how scary the endoskeleton is of the Terminators, because I think that's one of the most iconic visual motifs in the entire franchise. And there's nothing cooler than that. I remember playing that Terminator 2 arcade game over and over and over again. And there's something about the endoskeleton and just how it looks. And the one thing that does bother me, and I didn't think about this until earlier, I was actually talking about it on my Dynamite show. I was like, why do they got silver teeth? Do they like spray them with some enamel when they put the flesh on them or something like that? Like, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. It's like they're wearing veneers or something like that. But heck yeah, 4.9. Yeah, just slightly under a perfect score for Jasmine. What about you, Joe? The Terminator. What do you think? Where do you sit?
Yeah. No, for me, this isn't a question. It's hands down the best in the franchise. It's like there's no debate for me. 90% of everything every other Terminator movie uses, including T2, is from this movie. The time travel, how it works, what a Terminator looks like. It looks like that in every single movie.
Also, they're all chase films outside of Salvation. They're all chase films.
Yeah. Salvation is the one that is the most different. And yeah, we'll get to it later. But for me, this doesn't drag at all. T2 drags a little more for me. It's also like 40 minutes longer. Like, T2 is a very long movie. This movie is like an hour 45. It's pretty tight. And even in the scenes where they're exposition dumping, like, Linda Hamilton's fucking losing it. And like Kyle Reese is like having to calm her down. And there's a lot of, even in those exposition dumps, they're very tense and they're adding to the action. I feel the adrenaline through the whole movie. It doesn't really let up, like right from the beginning, in a way that the other movies don't have. And, there is a place, and, I'm not saying you can't do exposition. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to slow your movie down and all of that sometimes. But like this movie, rapid fire pace, the score is incredible. This was also, again, like, T2 is a great movie. James Cameron had a lot under his belt by then. This was his second feature film that he had next to no budget for. This, Star Wars, and Alien were the original sci-fi franchises that launched endless knockoffs on the direct-to-video market, and also some mainstream stuff. But again, if we're talking about longevity in terms of impact, like, anyone who worked at a video store knows this movie is basically knocked off by like 1 in 5 made for direct to VHS movies, like directly. This knocks off more than Star Wars, because Star Wars is harder to do. But like Alien and like Alien type things and like Terminator, oh my God, there are endless. We couldn't list all of the knockoff Terminator movies that came out in the 80s into the early 90s. This is just so incredibly important. And also, it is the cleanest one of all of these. There is, like, even when you get to T2, the cracks for the overall franchise start to show of like, well, actually, this didn't happen, and you got to do this to like that. All that bullshit starts happening. This is a very clean. This is the last battle. They make it very clear in this movie. It's not until the second one is when they start going, well, actually, the final battle is also part of like that bullshit, which wasn't a thing. James Cameron is on the record saying this was a one and done movie. He didn't even want to do a sequel. Arnold pushed him to do it. We can talk about how the sequel's great in its own right, but like, there was never supposed to be a sequel. It was so fucking cool to have a movie kind of like Star Wars, where like Star Wars starts in the middle. This one starts at the end. We were getting the last fight. And the idea of this epic future war, the final battle we were watching, and it was fought in the present day, is really fucking cool. And none of that is there in the rest of the franchise. And that is such an amazing idea. And I don't think we talk enough about how cool of a fucking idea that is. That, like, you're watching the end. This was the final battle. And it was a last-ditch final effort from Skynet to put a stop to what was going on by killing Sarah Connor. Once you start getting past that, it gets sillier and sillier each time. That Skynet's only thing is like, it didn't work the last time, so what if we send another robot back? It's
I just like the idea that they sent like 100 different Terminators back at the same time. Just like, let's cover all of our bases right now and just send them all back.
But that idea also sucks. Because, like, then it's like, who fucking cares? It's way cooler as a last-ditch effort. We figured out this rudimentary time travel system, and we only can do one each on each side. That's a cool final one-on-one confrontation representing both sides of a war. Once you start getting like, oh, we're just sending as many back, who cares? Because then it's like, oh, well, we did, and then these timelines are different, and this and that, and it's like it just becomes a big jumbled mess. This is a very clean, this is it, this is the final battle, and that's it kind of thing. And it's so cool. It's also just a slick shoot 'em up. Like, it is a slickly shot, grimy shoot 'em up. Arnold Schwarzenegger has never been more badass than in this movie. T2, the whole point is he can't be as badass. You have fucking John Connor ruining it for everyone, being like, don't kill people, like a loser. Meanwhile, this fucking movie, it's Arnold, just watching Arnold Schwarzenegger with dead eyes mowing down countless people, walking around with, just all sorts of insane guns, climbing in and out of sleazy rooms. Like, that's so fucking awesome. And you don't get that ever again. And for me, like, it's just, what's the argument? And it's dark. It's shot almost all of it's at night. Once you get to a certain point in the movie, like, just so cool. I think the acting, for me, this is the best acted. Like, I don't think the acting gets better after this one. Like, it's polished. It might do the same level. It doesn't get better than this. This is the best for me, just on so many fronts. And again, T2 is great. T2 had like 12 or 13 times the budget.
Yeah.
Like,
the
if
budget
not more.
was so low for this first movie, they didn't even film it in stereo. When they had to go back and add it in stereo in like 2001. It took them that long to go back and get this film in stereo.
And they really fucking overdid it. I wish we could get the mono soundtrack back, to be honest.
I mean, it's the difference between seeing your friend's first house that was a fix-em-up that they put their blood, sweat, and tears to, and then going to your friend's place, maybe made it big or something like that, and like bought like a McMansion or something, and being like, this is cool, I guess. It's nice that you got this upgrade, but like, I saw the blood, sweat, and tears you put into that fix-em-up, and that's way cooler to me, So like, absolutely a 5, no question.
All right, a perfect score from Joe. For me, for my rating, all right. So I do like the film, but there is a big piece of me that cannot. I love Terminator 2 so much. Right? Like, and I loved it so much when I was a kid. I do love this original film. I think it's brilliant. It is funny. Nobody's mentioned this, but like, Arnold Schwarzenegger may be badass in this movie, Joe, but it is silly having to watch this motherfucker throughout most of this movie with no eyebrows. It's a little silly. It's just a little bit silly, but
he cinched them off, man. They got
I get it. It's just funny as shit. It's just so funny. It's just so doofy looking. But no, I like the movie. I think it's brilliant. I think it's amazing. And I agree with you, Joe, that this is the blueprint for all the Terminator films, pretty much. They all kind of do this. Even Terminator 2 kind of repeats the same thing. They just add different things to it, different elements, and they invert some expectations. But for me, I'm going to give it the lowest rating on the panel. I'm going to go 4.5. 4.5 you digs from me. a 4.69 from Jelani, 5s from Brooks and Joe, and a 4.9 for Jasmine. That's a PCP average of 4.869. Let's just go with that. It's pretty high rated. We love this film. All right. Then in 1991, we had Terminator 2, Judgment Day, or as we like to affectionately call it, T2, Judgment Day. Once again, James Cameron is back. Arnold Schwarzenegger is back. Linda Hamilton is back. And now we got Edward Furlong playing a young John Connor. And we have Robert Patrick playing the T-1000. Y'all, Terminator 2, Judgment Day is the fucking shit. Now, I get what you're saying, Joe, about how it's long. It kind of drags a little bit. That's because that's the special edition that came out after the fact. The theatrical cut was actually like 20 minutes shorter, and it has a much more punchy kind of pace to it, right? Now, I don't think you can really find that on Blu-ray or on streaming or anything. It's the longer version, and I do like some of the sequences we get in the longer version, like when they open up his head and take out the chip, when Michael Biehn shows up during her dream or whatever. But to be honest, I think this is the movie to me that spotlights Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, better than any. I love her character in this movie. I 100% do, because she's grizzled, she's badass. She breaks out of the mental ward, and I don't know. I love her in this movie. I love Edward Furlong, but at the same time, 1991, Lil Robbie is 10 years old. So of course, if you give me a Robin to my Terminator Batman, I'm going to appreciate it and find something more to relate to it. So I just fucking love this movie. The T-1000, fucking scary. And what's crazy is rewatching this movie today, some of those effects still hold up. Some of them look better than some of the more recent big blockbuster movies that we've seen, and which is crazy, because we're talking about, what, 30-year-old effects, 35-year-old movie effects, but it still holds up just like Jurassic Park does, right? Man, Robert Patrick's so damn cold in this movie. He is scarier to me in this movie than Arnold was in the first one. 100%. Like, I don't know. There's just something about the idea that he can morph into anybody, make his arm into goddamn blades all of a sudden. I don't know, man. I loved it. And I always remember that scene in Wayne's World where he shows up and pulls them over, Wayne and Garth, if you remember that. This movie was a cultural milestone in the States. I mean, we all remember it. Like T2 all over the place. I still got some of the Terminator 2 action figures back there in my set because I love those figures, man. And I love the hell out of T2, man. I love that Arnold comes back and plays a Terminator again, but this time he's the good guy. Now, obviously, Arnold has become a giant movie star at this time, and so it makes sense to paint him as the hero. And I love his journey of learning with John Connor. I think my favorite thing out of the entire franchise is the relationship between Arnold and Edward Furlong in this one film. There's something so magical about it. I literally still fucking want to tear up at the end of this movie when he's giving the thumbs up and he's going like, I love this fucking movie. Talk about one-liners. I think this one did it. I think this one has the best one-liners. Hasta la vista, baby. You know, dickwad. All this kind of stuff. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's brilliant. I love the villain. I love John Connor. I love Sarah Connor. I love everything about this movie. The extended edition that we mostly see now does have some pacing issues, but I like those scenes. But I do think the original theatrical cut has a better runtime, a better pace to it. I fucking love this movie. It's so important to me and my history and my love of blockbuster film. This was a watershed moment, not just for me, but for American sci-fi cinema and 90s cinema in particular. And it is one of the best, Joe. I said one of the best sequels of all time. It's up there with Blade 2. It's up there with Godfather 2. You know what I'm saying? It's up there, man, where you take the concept of the first movie, you give us more of what we want, but you also invert certain things. I think this movie is fucking stellar. Everybody already knows I'm giving it a 5. You digs. What about you, Jelani? And you out there in the chat, what do you rate Terminator 2 Judgment Day? Jelani, what do you think? What do you rate it?
T2, bruh. T2 kind of sort of changed my life the way I saw like evil things coming for you. It's Chef's Kiss. This movie is everything you want in an action movie and science fiction all together. It scared the crap out of me because the scene, I know there's like two different scenes of her having Sarah Connor having the dream where the kids are playing in the playground and she's
bro, that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, bro.
That scared the fucking shit out of me still to this day.
Nothing was scarier to me as a kid than that and the ending of Superman 3, dude. There's some reason.
Yeah. Bizarro or Brainiac or whatever that was supposed to be. That scares the crap out of me too. Bruh, I love T2. T2 changed the way I look at cinema. It is one of those films where the music is on point. The practical effects from Stan Winston are beautiful. It's beautifully shot by James Cameron. James Cameron knows how to tell a story. This is why he is a genius. That's why that man knows. He knows from a bad dream and probably reading Harlan Ellison, he decided to create this world. I give him kudos for it, for just making sure that he was going to make something this awesome. Edward Furlong is great. His chemistry with Arnold Schwarzenegger is on point. Period. No ways. They should have. There are a few things in this movie that hurt the paradox, because technically in the first Terminator they do kill Skynet. They killed the main motherboard, but it was able to send one Terminator back. So maybe they did send a whole bunch while they were, because of the redundancy of a computer and how AI would work. Maybe I'm just sending a whole bunch of Terminators, but I still think that sending back the T-1000, you should have just sent back a whole bunch of T-1000s. Send a whole bunch of T-1000s at the same time. You got it done. In fact, you don't even have to kill John Connor. You can just send the T-1000 back and have it take over the database and become Skynet or something.
I just feel like there's Terminators back in there's Terminators back in the 1500s in Ireland going after Jean O'Connor and shit like that.
They're just gonna eliminate the entire generational line.
Kill his entire bloodline. One sitting. There's so many things this AI didn't do, and as we get into these other movies, I'm going to talk about how convoluted and bullshit and overlapping and stupid some of the shit is, but it starts here. But T2 is just perfect. It ends the best way. I love Miles Dyson. He gets shot by police. All right. And fuck the police. I hope they got blowed up when Miles was like, I can't hold this much longer. I hope they got blowed the fuck up. I hope they didn't get past the front door. Right at the front door, he drops it. Boom. Boom! Cops die. Sorry, I have a moment there. I love the whole Cyberdyne sequence where Arnold is just shooting the minigun and tearing shit up, but didn't kill anybody. I love that scene. I love Robert Patrick. His character is, it's so evil. He's just so evil. And of course, props to your boy. That's the meme now that when the cops show up and he didn't snitch on his friend, he's like, "Hey, did you see this kid?" No, I didn't see.
You talking about Budnick from Salute Your Shorts?
Yes, Budnick is awesome. He's my favorite character in the whole movie. It's one of those. It's a touchstone movie. It's one of those movies you just cannot escape. Sarah Connor is the strongest. Actually, the second strongest. She is third strongest. No, this is the first one. This is the one that marks her as an epic badass. This is the one that shows that she is the shit. She does survive the first one. Sorry, Joe.
She defeats the Terminator by her, Kyle helps her, and then she finishes it off. That kind of establishes
psychological trauma. The psychological trauma from that and the fact that she still has a kid and she's still training that kid to be the leader of the resistance. The fact that she got ripped as fuck for this movie. The fact that she is the strong female character that everyone needs. If you're gonna do a girl boss, you do a girl boss like freaking Sarah Connor. You do Sarah Connor. You don't do whatever you're doing now. It's terrible. I hate it. Sorry, I do. I hate it. Can't stand it.
Ripley's at
the
least
shit.
tied.
Ripley also.
Hold on, let's all just calm down. We know we didn't get a strong female protagonist in an action sci-fi film until Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, we all know
true.
that.
She did say that. Yes, she is correct. But yeah, that scene still freaks me out. The music is awesome. Sorry I went too long, but T2 is fucking balls to the walls awesome. I'm gonna give it a 5.69 just because Sarah Connor is that ripped. She is awesome. You hear me? Edward Furlong is the shit. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the shit. And Hasta La Vista, baby.
Hell yeah, Hasta La Vista, man. Yeah, this is a great double feature, T2 and Pet Cemetery 2. If you want your Edward Furlong fix, like that's a great double feature. All right, a 5.69 from Jelani, a 5 from me. What about you, Brooks? Where are you standing?
Well, yeah, like I remember T2, of course. You know, it was a seminal part of my childhood. Like, you know, it was everywhere back then too. You know, the video games, like all kinds of merchandise. T2 was like, you know, where the. And I still love T2, but like every time I watch it now, like it never lives up to the expectations I had when I was a kid. It's like, you know, I still think it's great, but like it always feels like it's like slightly less great than I remembered it being as a kid. But that's kind of the power it had back then. Like, you know, it was so badass. As a kid, you're just like, oh my God. You thought it was so good. And, you know, it is great. Like, it is a great action movie. Like, it's well paced. I feel it is a little bit long, but I don't like, you know, I don't feel like it's overly long. You know, like, you know,
yeah,
it does feel a bit, but the action, like, you know, makes up for it. Like, you know, Robert Patrick as the T-1000 he's my favorite Terminator. Like, I love him because like, he was the scariest too. Because I always remembered as a kid the scene where he, you know, John calls his step parents, and then it, like, you know, it cuts back, the camera pulls back to having his blade arm sticking through the dude's mouth while he's drinking a milk carton. I was like,
I'm never drinking milk again, bro.
Scary. I thought the T-1000, the T-1000 is like the fucking scariest Terminator to me. Because like he's as cold as Arnold was in the first one. But like he also has like the added edge of having, like, you know, he can morph his body into whatever weapon. So like, you know, he can use guns like Arnold does, but he can also, like, he has like more options for melee combat as well. And yeah, you know, like Sarah Connor is great in this movie. Like it shows, you know, that she's come a long way from in the first movie where she was like the everyman. It's kind of like the contrast between like Luke in the first Star Wars and him in Return of the Jedi. She kind of like skipped the middle part, but you know, like, you know, she's been on the run basically, and until I guess she got caught by these weird psychiatrist guys. But yeah, like this movie is like, there's a lot in this movie. I think, you know, it builds on kind of the idea, like, you know, the future trying to kill us basically, and you know, I love you know, that they're trying something new with the Terminator as well, with the whole liquid metal thing. Though I am curious as to like, you know, the whole idea of being time travel, you have to put flesh over the Terminator. Like the T-1000, it seems to be just like liquid metal. So like, did he just start out with like a flesh coating and then it just kind of fell off as he transformed, or what? I don't know. Like, it seems like he's just always the liquid metal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but he needs liquid metal, even if he can transform in any shape. Like the requirement for time travel is you have to have living tissue. So like, you know, I would assume like, you know, the initial, he had an initial like flesh covering, and it must have just like, you know, worn off over time, or just like, you know,
maybe it was nanites. Maybe nanites.
You know, the Terminators aren't.
He did come in naked, so yeah.
But that makes less sense then. Yeah. Like he didn't have to be naked. Like I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be naked, right?
You're right. They kind of like undo their own rules that are mostly established in later films.
It starts to get convoluted and weird.
Yeah.
T2. Yeah, but it keeps going and gets worse.
So I always got the idea, the impression in my head was that the T-1000 was sent back from a even further point along in the timeline. Like later on, once they realized, okay, well, John Connor's still here, so our Terminator didn't fucking work. So maybe we need to fucking send our new model or something back. I don't know, but yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a little.
It busts the whole theory, man.
You just don't think about it too much. Just sit back and enjoy the ride a little bit with these movies. But
that's not the most head-scratching moment of the entire franchise either. So.
Oh, yeah, nah.
Not even close. We're not even there.
It's just like the first step towards
it's the cracks forming, like I was.
Yeah, the cracks begin to show here, but it's still awesome.
I just remember being a kid and loving how Arnold was like cocking his gun, just like flipping it around and shit like that. I was like, that's so cool. And then I remember my stepdad being like, it don't work like that.
No.
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, it's like the power fantasy of having like your own like Terminator. That's why like John Connor, like he seems kind of like an annoying kid, but like, you kind of can see yourself like, man, I'll do the same thing if I had a Terminator too. Except I might not like, I'd probably tell him not to kill just to be safe, But it's like a kid's power fantasy. Like, what if I had like an unstoppable robot that would protect me from anybody? So yeah, I give Terminator 2 a 5. I think it's as good as the first one in a different way, They're both like great movies. And I'm sure it's going to keep being just as good down the line, too.
I'm certain,
man. Here, right?
It can only go up.
Goes up, man. Nothing but up.
All right, Jasmine, what about you? T2, Judgment Day. What do you think? What do you rate it?
Oh, man. T2 is, again, it scared me for different reasons. I think the way that they blended some of that intellectualism but what happens to humanity if machines get too big? I think that whole thing was so much more prevalent in this film. And me having seen this film right behind the first Terminator, I was absolutely terrified of August 29th, 1997, because I was certain we were going to have some kind of nuclear war. Like, to me, this film, regardless of like how advanced the Terminator technology is, this film felt very real. Like, if even right now, if a Terminator or somebody walked through those doors and they were like, come with me if you want to live, I would get up and I would leave, because I fully believe, like, if somebody came to me and said that phrase, like, some shit's about to go down. Like, it just felt so part of the times. I don't know. I just, the second film really, really like got in my head and stayed there in a way that the first film didn't. And maybe because I was just a little bit older and could understand it a little bit better, but it was one of those things where the theme in this film really stuck with me to the point where it informed the kinds of ways that I showed up when I finally got my first computer, where it was like, I don't want to give too much information. I don't want people to know too much about me, because all of these things can happen on this interwebs place that is brand new to all of us. So like, it just really set some things up in my own head that really kind of stuck with me. But like, this movie to me is so cool. It was one of the first R-rated films to make a really, really big opening weekend. And in fact, it stayed there for so long. The first film to knock it out of that spot was The Matrix. Like, that's how long this film held that R-rated title. Mm-hmm. Also, you were talking about the practical effects, Robbie. That scene near the very end where the helicopter flies under the overpass while it's chasing them to the factory. Everybody on the crew refused to film that sequence. So James Cameron filmed it himself. There was one guy said, okay, I will drive you in the car. And you got Cameron hanging out a window of the car to film that sequence himself, because he hired a separate pilot to pilot that helicopter to go under that overpass. Because everybody else was like, we're not doing it. We're not gonna stunt it. We're not gonna film it. We're not gonna be any part of this. And James Cameron was like, fuck y'all. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna make this work myself. So I love that. Like they were just like, this is the vision that I have. I'm going to get it done and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. Love. So Terminator 2 Judgment Day, like, fucked me up in a whole different way than the first film did, but I loved it. It was fantastic. The leap in technology that we get from the first film to the second film is fantastic. I love that Cameron had the wherewithal to wait it out to really get to bring that vision that he had to life. Because at the time, the T-1000 was the coolest thing I had ever seen. Like, bro got shot with like a 50 caliber gun, and all it did was make a tiny little hole that he ended up closing up. And it was just like, what is happening?
Of course,
this
now
is
we
so
watch
cool.
it and we're like, you just crumpled up some foil and put it on Robert Patrick.
Yeah. No.
It was just wild. Like, to me, the special effects and the use of CGI in this one was wildly imaginative, and I think that was what was so cool. And the way that Robert Patrick was just so menacing, like that entire sequence where they're escaping from the mental institution, and he like just casually walks up to that gate and like walks right through, and then the only thing that gets stuck is the gun in his hand. And I was just like, this is the craziest Terminator ever. Like, I don't think they're ever going to be able to have a crazier Terminator. Do
you ever get a feeling that Tom Cruise watched this movie and goes, "That's how you run in a movie"?
Yes. Yes. If not Tom Cruise, certainly Will Smith. Will Smith definitely saw Terminator 2, and he was like, "That's my shit. I'm doing that. that's going to be my thing from now on." But no, I loved this film, the way that it was put together, the story that we got, how we got like the rehashing of the original, but it was different. It's like same, but different. It just, to me, it elevated the story. It kept a lot of the continuity. I also felt it was just like, okay, we still have Skynet. We still have this problem. Obviously, humans are still putting up a pretty good fight because they have sent a totally different Terminator back this time. So to me, it was like, maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance for humanity to kind of defeat this all-encompassing thing. But from the nuclear war and that entire sequence of the hellfire in Los Angeles, the date that stuck in my head until August 30th, 1997 came and went. Just like everything about this film really it's just like it crawled its way inside of me and stayed there. And it has forever been on my mind since I saw this movie when it came out. So it's definitely 5 out of 5 for me.
Hell yeah. 5 out of 5. You were talking about this being one of the highest grossing R-rated films for a long time till The Matrix came out. Its budget went from $6 million on the first one to about $100 million for this one. And it made about $520 million in 1991.
That's a lot of money. And that's a lot of money for an R-rated film.
Yeah. An R-rated film that kids loved. They made toys.
Apparently we did.
And all that shit, man. I really miss R-rated movies getting toys. Like Terminator, RoboCop, Rambo. Let's come on. Let's bring that back and do some Play 2 action figures, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. We got some pretty high ratings so far, Joe. What about you? You said some things.
Oh yeah, out the gate 4.5 out of 5. I really love this movie. I had the action. I got my tonsils taken out around when the action figures came out, and I got the toys as like gifts. Like I watched this more when I was younger. I had the full experience with this movie. I've watched it a bunch of times. Same with the first one. I probably watched this one more than the first one over time, but there's just a lot of things that keep it from being better for me. One of the big things for me is with the cracks forming. This is where the message and the theme starts getting muddied. Man versus machine is far more compelling than machine versus machine. And you get morally messy with they took the technology that they were fighting against and sent that back to help. I mean, isn't that kind of like being like, we're going to end nuclear war with an older nuclear missile? Like, it's very like, there's an issue with that. There's an issue with that isn't very well.
The idea is that Arnold is kind of a machine.
No, that's you know what I'm saying though. This is a more morally ambiguous issue, and they kind of like gloss over it. It's like you're fighting so hard and you're willing to use the enemy's weapons against. And at one point, it's like, I don't know. That's like, there wasn't really a debate about it. It was all strictly about trusting if he was being honest or not about it. But there isn't really a debate on maybe the resistance isn't doing the right thing by doing that. There are heavier implications, but because it's more of a popcorn movie and they're going for a wider audience, they gloss over kind of really heavy implications that entails. Robert Patrick doesn't he's good, but he is nowhere near as scary. There is something far more terrifying of a Michael Myers, this guy, he's walking, he's coming to me, I'm dead. It doesn't matter. He's going to get to me. Like that sort of chase is way more compelling than guy who runs fast, except when the script needs him to go slow so he doesn't catch them quick enough.
I don't know, Joe. If Michael Myers showed up and was all like, hey, I'm looking for Laurie Strode. You guys seen her? Like, what's up? Like, that's kind of creepy to me.
That would be creepy. But, like, he slowly walks to Sarah Connor for no reason when the script needs him to walk slow. But he's running like a maniac when he needs to get to them. Like there's a lot of things like that. He keeps only having his really crazy powers when he needs them and when the script needs everyone to live, he doesn't. Like he can mimic other people
with a different personality heuristic when they sent him back.
No, that's bullshit. He's fighting, like when he's got Sarah Connor, he's like, yell for John. You got to yell for John, and she won't. It's like, why is he not just mimicking her voice?
Because he enjoyed the torture. That's why.
Yeah.
No. Again, like that's not what a Terminator does. And then wouldn't it also be torture to just cover her mouth and start yelling with her voice and bringing John there? Like that absolutely would be torture. Like it's just,
I'm sorry.
There's very little, there's a lot more, like this movie has more like T-1000 does things so the movie can happen stuff in it. And it takes away from the terror that he causes, because it's like, oh, well, he'll fuck with the one security guard for no reason instead of just being like, grab, gotcha, bang. Like, he's not like, he's silly in this. Like, he's not like, it's weird. There's a weird disconnect with the T-1000 over, the T-800, the Arnold Terminator, that just doesn't entirely work for me. Like it works with you when you're doing like this like big blockbuster movie. You're trying to appeal to the masses. You're appealing more to a younger audience, and I think that kind of stuff appeals more to a younger audience. Because you see that obviously the John Connor stuff, they're aging it down a bit. Where
wasn't one of the things that they talked about was that they needed to make the Terminator seem more realistic so they could blend in better?
What does that have to do with the point I'm making?
With that's why he has that different personality than the T-800. Like the T-800 is like your grunt. It's the one you just send out to the battlefield. It has a directive. It only goes for the directive. But they wanted to make something that would blend in with the humans easier. And so that's why I feel like they've got a different matrix on the inside.
No, blending in to kill John doesn't mean I'm gonna turn into the security guard and wait for him to turn around, and that's not like that's more of a moment that like there are moments in this movie that are made for the audience that make no sense in the reality of the movie. You know what I mean? Like that's for the audience to be like, oh my God, he's going to turn around and he's going to get killed by the Terminator. And it's designed to amp up the audience and to get you to be like, oh my God, the guy's going to turn around and he's going to like stab him through the head. And it's made to build up that anticipation. But in the reality of the movie, it makes no sense. And there's a bit more of that in this movie than in the first movie. So like there's stuff like that. There were just extra little things like why did we need, and you know, it's been a while since I've seen the theatrical cut, so this might just be in the extended cut, but the stuff with like the guards at the asylum like sexually abusing her was just like weird and didn't really go anywhere and wasn't really like what are we doing?
They got their
but like
they got their
asses. But again, that's an engineered cheap moment to be like, which you don't need. Like it's just like, oh, we're gonna. It feels like a very 90s movie kind of thing, right? Where it's just like, we're gonna have these guys like really beat the shit out of her and lick her and stuff to make you really repulsed, and then she's gonna kick their ass. And it's like,
well, we know that Quentin did that way better in Kill Bill, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
My name is Buck.
So thinking like Kill Bill Volume 1 was Buck.
Yes.
But yeah, like it's a great movie. There's a lot of really awesome things about it, but there are things in the movie that just prevent it from being a superior movie to the first one, that prevent it from being perfect by falling into some of those tropes, like the killer who has every power imaginable except when he can't because the movie has to happen and stuff. So like 4.5 out of 5. All
right, a 4.5 from Joe, a 5 from me, and a 5.69 from Jelani, and a 5 from Brooks and Jasmine. That's a PCP average of 5. So Joe, I guess you're wrong.
You're wrong.
There you go. Thank you, Jelani, for that 5.69.
I'm glad to be wrong. There was at least one. I think Introspect M had a 4.5 too. So, you know.
Oh, I mean, it is what it is. Regardless to say, I think we can all agree that the first two are by far the best.
Oh my God! Yeah, holy shit!
And Jasmine, if you were scared of a certain date in 1997, I can't even imagine how scared you were in 2003 when you realized. And here's something I love thematically about T2 versus T1. T1 kind of creates this like loop, this time loop, right? This never-ending time loop that goes. What I love, if the fate is you make your own fate, if that's the whole point of this movie, of this franchise, right? We make our own fate, right? Terminator 1 goes against all of that because it's all about like, this all has to happen to make it all happen, right? But in T2, what I love is that I love that Sarah is now obsessed, not with just protecting her son, but stopping Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. And what I love about the sequel, Terminator 3, is the idea that Judgment Day is inevitable. It doesn't matter if you delay it, it's always going to happen. And that is something I love about Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. So 2003, at this point, C2 Pictures had somehow gobbled up the rights to the Terminator franchise. They wanted to make a direct sequel. James Cameron passed on it. He didn't want to do it. Arnold wanted to do it, but not without James. But he was also contractually obligated to do it, or else he could be in legal trouble. And so we went and talked to James Cameron, and James says, you got my blessing. Just ask for as much money as you can possibly get. I believe they gave him like $25 million and 20% of the film's profits. Damn. Which is insane, right? But that's how big of a deal Arnold was. So it had a budget of $190 million. It made $430, which is not 400 or 520 in 1991 money. They were talking about 2003. All right. Edward Furlong obviously was going through some substance abuse problems. So they got Nick Stahl in to play John Connor, continuing the trope that there's a different John Connor in every fucking movie.
Yes.
That being said, they tried to bring Sarah Connor back. They tried to bring Linda Hamilton back, but she just was like, you know what? I feel like I told my story in part 2. I don't really want to come back and do it. And so the movie wrote her out. She had died from leukemia or something like that. It introduces Claire Danes' character, which is John Connor's future wife, who we'll see in another movie. I'm going to tell you this. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines is not a good movie. However, there are elements of this movie I really like. The element I really like is what I've already talked about, like the overall point of the movie. There is no stopping Judgment Day. And especially at this time, Snobby Robbie loved movies that had bad endings. Not bad endings as in they're not good, but like not a happy ending. And the ending of Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines blew my ass away. I was like, holy shit, Judgment Day happens. We finally saw it. And I was so excited to see the War of the Machines in part 4, because what I've wanted to see throughout all of the Terminator franchise after 1 and 2 is I want to see that. We finally see Judgment Day happen, even with all of the efforts from all of our heroes in the third film. I fucking love that. I think that's a rather brilliant part. In fact, I love the overall story of Terminator 3. I do. On paper, if you just tell me this is what the movie's about, this is how it plays out, and this is the ending, I think it's fucking great. But man, that execution is whack as fuck. Why? Well, I guess some could view this as a positive. I view it as a slight negative, but at the same time a positive, because I don't think it's a good film. But one of the things that makes this movie even more tolerable to me is this is the funniest of all the Terminator movies, right? Like
on purpose, though, Robbie, was it funny on purpose?
It is funny on purpose because Arnold loves the comedy bits of the Terminator. And so like that was some of the stuff that worked in T2. And so I can imagine them looking at T2 and being like, why is T2 a much bigger film than T1? Maybe it's because it was funny. So let's bring more comedy in there. Oh, the Terminator can't smile right, so let's play that up. Not going to be the last time they play up the comedy in this movie. In fact, it gets worse as the MCU rises, right? But in 2003, we still didn't have the MCU. I like the effects in this movie. I like the set pieces. The TX, the Terminatrix, I like her, but at the same time, I remember even at the time, I watched this in the theater, and at the time I came out, I was like, well, it's definitely the funniest Terminator movie, but it's not good, but I love that ending. That's still how I feel about this movie. I think Nick Stahl does fine. I don't know about the idea of John Connor being like a druggy, anxiety-ridden dude robbing veterinarians of horse pills or dog pills or some shit like that. I guess that's all right. But at the same time, where did we leave with Terminator 2? They stopped Judgment Day. All of a sudden, John Connor, what's your purpose in life, bruh? You're supposed to be this great leader, but we stopped Judgment Day. And what I love is how it's all tied into that ending. You can't stop Judgment Day. You can't stop this fate. It's going to happen no matter what. All you can do is delay it. But man, the humor, a lot of it is out of place. A lot of it is stupid as fuck, but I love the action set pieces. I love some of the effects for the time. But even at the time when I watched the movie, I thought that the TX, I was like, wait a second. So they do a mechanical Terminator with flesh skin. Then they do a liquid metal Terminator. Their next step in evolution is a metal Terminator with liquid skin over it. That never made sense. It felt like a downgrade to me, right? Though I did like her. And once again, dumbass scenes. But at the same time, when I rewatch this movie, which I don't usually want to do, when I do rewatch the movie, I do laugh at the dumbass shit that he goes to a fucking strip club to get his clothes back. And he's like, give me your clothes, your boots, and you talk to the hand. And then he does the talk to the hand bit. And is there a more dated fucking reference? Dude, that was dated in 2003. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous, right? So there's that. But then also the moment when the TX, gets pulled over by the cop and she increased her breast size. Like, it's so fucking stupid. But to me, that's kind of part of the charm of this movie. It's not a great film, but I love how it kind of tries to push the narrative forward. I love the idea of Judgment Day being inevitable. I think that the performances are fine. I like the action sequences, and it's ridiculously dumb and funny. And I think in the long term, that's made it a more enjoyable experience to rewatch for me. But I will sit here and give it a 3 out of 5, you digs, for Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. What about you, Jelani, and you out there in the chat?
Yeah, I honestly think T3 gets a bad rap because I saw it in the theater too, and I enjoyed it. Like, it's one of those enjoyable, just it's there, and it's got Terminator lore in it, and it sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. I'm okay with it. I don't know why you keep sending Terminators. Stop sending Terminators. You're not doing a good job. I don't know. I would have sent like 6 at the same time. I just kept sending them like in the same timeline, and just you kill everything. About the TX, I love the TX. I would want the TX as my bodyguard. Somehow, I don't know what it is about Christiana Loken.
Oh, I wonder what it is, Delaney. I wonder why the T.
No. Trust me. I do not know. She cannot get it. No, it's not that at all. No,
bro, she can increase her breast size at will. I mean, what more?
Not even that. No, not even that. No, I said bodyguard. I said somebody that, like, if I was rich and I had to go out of town for some conference or something, I want her wearing that red suit, standing behind me, making sure nobody was gonna fuck some shit up. Because that's how cold she was in this movie. I liked her. I liked her character in this movie. Claire Danes was kind of annoying, but I love Nick Stahl, and honestly, I like their chemistry together. I don't know why. I just thought it worked.
This was before Carnival, right? This was before Carnival? Okay.
This is before Carnival. Carnival was like 2005 or something. 2006.
Yeah, I thought so for sure. Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But Nick Stahl is solid. He gets a bad rap. I think he was a great John Connor. I really do. I don't know why I do. It's just he looks dumb in the future with the scratches on his face, and he looks like a little boy in the face trying to pretend that he's an old man, and they show him. I like everything you said, Robbie. Everything to a T. Pretty much it's a funny T3. T3 is a funny movie. I like the ending. Something about the ending. Of course, the Judgment Day is inevitable. That's the part that always gets me. Because that's what still keeps me like not hating this movie. I don't hate this movie. And it's because of the ending. They get to Crystal Peak and he's like, where's the button to stop the Nurgle? Like, no, it's already done. No. The second her dad pressed Y, it was over. It was a wrap. If you had been there, if y'all had started up, dicked around for like another hour, if y'all had been there like 15, 20 minutes earlier, you could have stopped Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, did you know that in the deleted scenes, there's a bit where they're trying to show some military guy played by Arnold Schwarzenegger who's working for the government, and they decide that they're going to model these new weaponized machine soldiers after him, and he's got this stupid Southern accent, and they're like, well, we need to work on the voice, and then somebody like says, I'll work on the voice, and it's somebody, some like skinny ass white dude with Arnold's voice on it. Like, yeah. I'm glad they cut that shit out.
I'm glad they cut it out. I remember that.
But I like seeing the T1s and all that shit. Yeah, like it's
the
pretty
T1s
cool.
Were great. The fact she could control him, she could control machines. I love that. Like I said, I want her as my bodyguard. Like she had primary weapons and secondary weapons. She had freaking blowtorches. She had a whole bunch of crazy shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'm about that life. So I love TX. Arnold is okay in this. Yeah, she can't get it. But there's just like, there's a charm to this movie to me that makes a lot of sense for me in certain ways. I love my favorite scene in this movie is the truck chase. The chase where they're in that goofy ass truck and they're trying to escape the TX while she's the Termination while she's in that gigantic crane truck thing. I love that scene. I don't know what it is. It just changes me. It's a beautiful thing. And now that I've said my piece about T3, because I'm trying to be shorter, I apologize. But T3, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I like this movie. I don't know what it is. It's like it's a guilty pleasure for me to watch. I don't know why, but I like the fact that they built on the lore. The lore works well with it. It's just like you said before, Robbie. It's executed poorly. It's just not something that I would just keep around. But I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I enjoy the film, man. There's something about it that I like. It doesn't bother me. Like I will continue to watch this movie when I go and revisit this franchise. But 3.5, man, that's pretty freaking solid. So a 3 and a 3.5 so far. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about T3, Rise of the Machines?
Yeah, so I had never seen this movie, but I remember when it was coming out, because I remember like I think it was Conan O'Brien or something he was talking about he talked to Arnold about how Arnold would always like shove promotions for things he was working on and like his everyday conversations, and one of them was like, go watch T3 Rise of the Machines. So yeah, so like I remember this movie came out. I didn't watch it, but it wasn't a movie I was necessarily like excited for. I think because like T2 was such like it was such on such a high level. I was like, I don't really want to ruin it. But I think this movie is like, I agree, this is a fun movie. It is dumb in a lot of ways. It is a step down from T2, but it has fun with what it does, and it progresses things. You see now John's like a different character. Unfortunately, Linda Hamilton is not in the picture anymore. But I think that's good, because I think this movie needed to have John like on his own. Like you need to see like he's already been imparted with the knowledge he needs to like become the revolutionary that he's supposed to be. And I like the idea that now that feels like his purpose is gone, like he feels adrift, like even though he has nothing to fear anymore, he still lives off the grid. He still is in hiding. And like I kind of like the idea that that Judgment Day is inevitable, but it's kind of like at the same time John Connor is also inevitable. And I like the new Terminator, Kristanna Loken. I thought she was pretty neat. Like she is kind of just a slight upgrade. Patrick, she's got like blasters and flamethrower, that kind of shit added in with like being able to do melee weapon stuff.
They talk.
I don't think she's quite as.
Yeah, well, they talk about the T-1000 and was like, well, the biggest flaw with that design was that it didn't have any onboard weapons. So we're going like, and I still don't buy that. Like this, like it still feels like a downgrade to me, right? Like, oh, this one shoots electricity.
She's not a T-1000.
Yeah, and her blaster gets like fucked up like halfway through the movie, so like that's gone, and all she has is the flamethrower. But I liked her in this movie all right. Like I haven't seen her a whole lot. I remember she was in Mortal Kombat Conquest though. She was one of the 3 main characters in that show. So
you're like one of the only people that remembers the actors in that fucking film.
Yeah.
Was she Sonya?
No, she was like Conquest was set like back in the olden days. So they were like, she's Taja. So like, Kung Lao was the only character from the video game that was in Mortal Kombat Conquest, pretty much. And it wasn't like the Kung Lao from the video game. It was one of his like descendants or ancestors. So yeah. But let's not get too deep into the Mortal Kombat Conquest lore here. We'll be talking for fucking hours. But yeah, like she is a downgrade, I think, from Robert Patrick as far as intimidation. Even though she's a bit of an upgrade in like versatility. So yeah, like this movie, it's fun, but I'd probably give it a 3.5 too. Like I think it's slightly above average, like just because it's got a lot of fun action stuff, and if you don't take it too seriously, it's an enjoyable movie. Not as enjoyable as T2, but still like pretty fun.
Holy shit, I'm very surprised so far. I thought I would have the highest rating on Terminator 3 personally, but yeah, 3 and 2, 3.5 so far. What about you, Jasmine? I'm eager to hear what you got to think.
This movie was doomed before it ever started. Okay, they couldn't get Cameron to come back. They reached out to Michael Bay, John McTiernan. They reached out to every other action director that they could think of. They all said no. Then we got to casting. You couldn't cast Edward Furlong because he was already having problems of his own. They originally cast Shane West to play the part. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. They originally cast Nick Stahl, and Nick Stahl couldn't get out of his commitment to take on the role. So they cast Shane West. Finally, Nick Stahl comes in at the 11th hour and is like, never mind. I cleared my schedule. So then they fire Shane West and they bring Nick Stahl back on. Sophia Bush was originally Kate. But then 3 weeks into filming, the director was like, actually, you're too young to play this character. They recast that character 3 weeks into filming. And then Claire Danes stepped in and had to learn her lines on set as she was filming for this movie. This movie is terrible. The only good thing about this film is, like you guys said, there's continuity. Skynet still launches 1.5.
Fair enough.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
1.5. That's what I was expecting about this one.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you think about T3?
Completely agree with Jasmine. This movie fucking blows. The chemistry with Nick Stahl and Claire Danes is
It doesn't
awful.
exist. It's not even in the room.
Exactly. They are fucking terrible in this movie. They annoy me. I'm actively annoyed watching this movie. The humor doesn't land for me at all. It's like dated, gay, sexist kind of shit going on. I am not. It's like just nasty, awful garbage. This movie. The ending is cool, but who gives a fuck? By then, 1.5.
It doesn't warm you, Jasmine, Joe. It doesn't warm your hearts when he puts on those star shades.
No, I don't want my Terminator wearing cheeky glasses.
No, and also it came out in 2003. The joke was, does he look like gay putting on these glasses? It's stupid. He doesn't realize that straight people don't do that because he's a robot. Like, I'm not about that. Like, fuck this movie.
I understand, Joe. I get it, bro.
I get it.
What I thought sucked is that he throws them away immediately. Like, I thought he should have wore the star glasses throughout like the movie until they got like damaged, and then he gets a new pair. They'd like, you know. But they made
all
it
right,
like,
Link.
oh, he's just like
Link,
throws them
I
away.
gave it a 3, not a 3.5. Okay, so don't be fucking mad at me.
I'm sorry, the ending, man. It's the ending. It's something about the ending that I'm like,
I love the
okay,
ending,
this saves
and
the
I don't know,
trash
man.
movie.
I love how
love
fucking.
the
Yeah, that's why it gets a 1.5 because we still have the continuity. That's it.
I think this is the Police Academy
I
3
completely
of
agree.
the franchise, man. That's what I
It's
think.
a mess. It's a mess.
All right, so we got a 3 from me, a 3.5 from Brooks and Delaney, and a 1.5 from Joe and Jasmine. That is a PCP average of 2.567.
Thank
So
God we got that down.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, the franchise can only go up from here, right? 100%, right? It's because of the ending.
Yeah.
Okay, it's because of the ending, and because even though I don't like this film, I don't mind rewatching it because it's so dumb that it's kind of funny to me. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I just watched this movie. I'm like, I'm so glad this movie exists. It's the same reason why I wish Tim Burton would have got to make that Superman movie. I just wish that existed so that we could fucking watch it and be like, y'all remember that Superman movie with Nicolas Cage? Like, what the fuck were they thinking? All right. We're going to take a quick break. We're only halfway through the franchise, only halfway through the show. We still got Salvation, Genisys, and Dark Fate to talk about. We'll be back in just a couple minutes here on PCP Movie Night. right, welcome back, everybody. Here to PCP Movie Night, the conclusion of Actionfest. We're talking about the Terminator franchise. We've already talked about 1, 2, and 3. Seems like we all like 1 and 2. We were a little bit divided on part 3, and I was not expecting that. I really thought my score would be the highest. But now we're about to talk about T4. I wish they would have called it T4. Terminator 4 Salvation. But Terminator Salvation, which so far in the franchise, up to this point and through this point, we are continuing the same timeline, right? We got Terminator 2, they postponed Judgment Day. Judgment Day happens in T3, and then you got Salvation, which is finally giving me what I've always wanted, the future story. John Connor, the resistance against the war of the machines, right? Or in the war against the machines, I should say. So this movie came out in 2009, and it cost $200 million. It made $371 million. So not quite enough, especially with all the licensing, all of the promotion and marketing. Just didn't really quite work. And this is the beginning of a trilogy of movies trying to start trilogies and failing to do so. Like every movie from this point forward is trying to soft reboot the series into a new trilogy and Harry Potter it or MCU it, as we'll find out in the next movie. We'll talk about that. But Terminator Salvation didn't really land or work with a lot of people. In fact, I remember when it came out and most people didn't like the movie that I knew. I was one of the few who enjoyed Terminator Salvation. I did. And I remember buying it on Blu-ray. I worked at Movie Stop at the time. And I remember loving it, rewatching it. And this was the first time since then I've rewatched the film. I still like the film. I like it a lot. It's directed by Mick G, who is a music video director who had started making a name for himself with movies like, for instance, the Charlie's Angels property. I know that Jelani's not a fan of those movies, but I'm a huge fan of the first one in particular. Right? Like, I love that first Charlie's Angels film. I love Terminator Salvation. I think it's really solid. I think it still holds up. I've always wanted to see the Terminator movie set during the time of the war against the machines. I loved Christian Bale as John Connor in this movie. He is leaning a little bit too much. He's just come off The Dark Knight. I feel like he's still dealing with the ramifications of his voice from that movie. He's still like, I'm John Connor in the future. Where's Rachel? Where's the detonator? He's almost kind of doing that thing, but you know what I like? And of course the movie's famous because he had that onset breakdown with the sound guy or whatever that walked in his eye line. Like, it's pretty freaking stupid. But I love him in this movie. Sam Worthington plays, I guess he's supposed to be like, the way I interpreted this movie the first couple times I watched it was he's the prototype for what's going to be the Arnold Terminator, right? But then you find out, no, the intention is that he's a different kind of Terminator. He's more of a cyborg. And I'm like, they literally call the Terminator a cyborg in all the other movies. Like in the very first movie, Kyle was like, oh yeah, he's a cybernetic organism. He's a cyborg. And I was always like, I don't know if it's a cyborg, if it's just a machine with like human flesh over it, but I get what they were trying to do there. The trailer does spoil the fact that he's a machine.
The next
and
three
crazy,
trailers and stuff.
When you watch the movie, they act like you're not supposed to know that for a good like 40 fucking minutes, right? Yeah. So that kind of, the marketing kind of hindered it a little bit there. I love the action in this movie. Also, Anton Yelchin, right? Is that his name? Like Kyle Reese. Dude, unfortunately taken way too soon. He's great. He's great in the Star Trek movies as Chekhov. He's great in this. He's great in so many things he's done, including the Fright Night remake. I think he's amazing in that movie. That movie's way better than it has any right to be. But I still like Terminator Salvation. I think the action set pieces are amazing. I love the Terminators that are on the fucking, like, the motorcycle Terminators. I love the giant Terminators that walk around and grab up humans and shit like that. I love that it's showing how John Connor takes over the Resistance. I love how it's filling in little gaps, like where does he get that scar? Now, initially, the original ending of this film got leaked. So they had to reshoot the third act of the film to combat the leak of the original ending. By the way, the original ending, in my opinion, fucking sucks ass. John Connor dies, and Marcus, the Sam Worthington, Is it Sam Worthington? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yes.
He wears
Okay, I kept thinking like Warren Worthington, the third. But anyway, he was supposed to live and take over John Connor's place in the war. And the point being that John Connor is more than a man. He's an idea. It's a name. And so they put John Connor's face over him, and he is the John Connor that we see in Terminator 1 in the very beginning in that prologue. That would have been a fucking bullshit. Now, the movie doesn't 100% work, but it does give us a little bit of a prequel type feel where it's when John Connor hears the name Kyle Reese and he just like, we have to save this dude. Like, you don't understand how important, because I wouldn't be here if we don't send this dude back in time. I like how it works, man. Arnold didn't come back for this. He was governor of California at the time, but he did allow
California.
Yeah, he did allow his likeness to be used. So they CG the first like T-800s as they come off the assembly line. I kind of like that bit. I enjoy this film. I think McG did a great job. I think it's one of his stronger films from this era of his career. The only thing I really don't like about it, honestly, is the desaturated nature of the movie, like the colors, the way it looks, right? This is something that was very...
But how do you know it's dystopian if the color is not off, Robbie?
Well, because that's what everybody was doing back in these days, right? Like, drain the color out of a movie to show this bleak atmosphere. But then again, if you look at T1 and 2, and if you look at those flashback sequences, there's a lot of cool blue. And I think that blue is essential to this future vision of the world run by machines, because blue to us, we kind of associate it with being this cold color. And I like that. But at the same time, man, I love the action in this movie. I think that the action, the CG, I think it's fucking top notch. The only thing that doesn't work for me CG wise is the Arnold CG, but we weren't quite there yet. I still don't think we're quite there, but you know what? Hollywood's going to continue to try. That being said, I like this film. I like it better than 3, not as well as 1 and 2. To me, it's the third best Terminator film. I'm going to give this 4. You digs. What about you, Jelani? What do you think? What do you rate it?
McG is such a pretentious name. I really hated his name. And then everything.
Sounds like a guy who used to do Smash Mouth and Sugar Ray videos, right? That's the kind of name you take for that.
Shit for calling himself McG. I just hate that fact about him, and because of that, I'm gonna give this movie a 2.
Okay.
I hate McG. I hate him so much. Like, the fact that I have to call him McG pisses me off further. I'll talk about it, but I want to give my 2 first, because I need to talk about this movie for a second. Just a quick moment. The best part about this movie is the Christian Bale outburst, which was great about it. This movie is it does take itself too seriously for what it is. I don't know why, but I think it was the wrong. You could have made this in the future. You could have made it the war and all that stuff, but it still felt stilted to me. I don't know how to explain that. And of course, McG. He's just he doesn't know how to present things. Like the CG in this, Robbie, I don't know. I don't like the CG in this. It needed more practical effects. The CG in this looks terrible to me. I can't get past that it's not there. It's kind of like Superman's dog, like Krypto and Superman. I know it's a dog. I know it's supposed to be flying sometimes when it licks you and all that stuff, but you're not there. I can tell you're not there. At least in the first 2 T2 movies, and even in T3, it looks like it's there. Like they are monsters. They are exoskeletons, creatures that are there. They can touch you. They can get you. In this movie, it's none of that. On top of that, yes, Arnold looks trash in this. I hate how Arnold looks in this. Anton Yelchin does a great job. No other character does for me, other than Christian Bale. Stop trying to make Sam Worthington a thing. He is not a thing. They put him.
Well,
in
I don't think they're trying anymore, bro. I think we're done with that. I think we've sailed that.
Not being a thing. But he's an Avatar, so whatever. He's not that he can't act. It's just he's not conveying. He doesn't convey like an actual character, like a person. Like he's in jail on death row because he killed his brother or something, and some law enforcement agents. They don't really go into that, and they should, because that gives him the character that he is. But even when they do give that to him, he's not emoting that. His face is a blank stare through most of this movie. Even when he's emoting, screaming, finding out he's a robot, which they did spoil, which is stupid as fuck. Why did you spoil that? Because it would have been awesome for us to not go in there blind, him wake up in this world and like, did they freeze him?
Bro, they even played in the movie like we're not supposed to know because they're all staring at him and like they don't even know
like,
what you are. And like, bro, you put this clip in the trailer, ass.
Get this in the trailer. What the fuck? So you ruined that.
It'd be portion. Like this year, check out Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis is dead the entire time.
Entire movie. What?
It's true.
Yeah, it's that shit. It's so much work in this film. It's like McG. He just don't know how to shoot nothing. He can't shoot nothing.
Bro,
he don't do action
man.
scenes.
You've always had this hatred for McG for some reason, man.
I fucking hate McG. He's just fucking stupid. Why did you name yours? Why would you be famous and not want your name out there? So you just I'm gonna be McG. I'm not that good. I'm gonna just become McG. Can I just do? Fuck you. Fuck your pretensions.
But you have no problem with the grown-ass man telling everybody, call me Sting now.
No, I hate Sting. I can't stand anybody that does a sharpshooter that's not Chris Benoit.
I was talking about the musician Sting, but okay.
Oh, I love Sting. That guy's great. I thought you were talking about the wrestler Sting. He's overrated, like Bret Hart. Anyway, two
you digs. All right. Wow, I was not expecting.
They're all terrible.
You to give Terminator 3 a 3.5, but Salvation a 2. All right, that's fine.
Bryce Dallas Howard's terrible. Claire Danes does a better
Fair
wife.
enough. I'm going to tell you
now
this.
that's just blasphemous.
Yeah, I just said it.
I didn't really mention this. I didn't really mention this. But the music in Terminator 3 is done by Marco Beltrami, who's done a lot of cool stuff, but that movie didn't really work. The score in this one is Danny Elfman, and I think it's like the best score since T2. It uses the Brad Fiedel stuff, but it does its own thing, and it also doesn't sound like your typical Danny Elfman thing. So I think the music is also strong in this. What about you, Brooks? Do you hate it as much as Jelani? Are you as forgiving as I am? What do you think, Brooks?
I didn't like this movie either. Like, I didn't think it was like terrible. But it feels like, to me, it felt a lot like, a Michael Bay Transformers kind of movie. It feels like, that era of action movies where, it's like a big CGI fest, which isn't necessarily bad. I think there are some good things about it. Like, I like the idea that they're delving into the story of John Connor more. But, like, I just didn't find it that interesting. And, like, I like, despite the fact that, I know it's supposed to be like dystopian future and everything's like all fucked up, like it's so dull in a lot of ways to me. And like I didn't care as much about the characters. I didn't feel as attached to the characters, either the Sam Worthington character. Like I didn't even care much for Christian Bale's John Connor, to be honest. Like
yeah.
But
well, you're a fucking amateur. You're a fucking amateur, aren't you?
I am an amateur.
That rant was awesome.
Well, I gave T3 a 3.5. But yeah, like, there are parts of this movie that I do like, but overall, like, I thought it just seemed, it was very dull for me. Like, it didn't have the pop of like, the previous Terminator movie. So I give it a 2.5. Like, it's a little below average for me. Like, not the worst, but, not one I'd probably want to visit again.
All right, a 2.5 from Brooks. This is crazy that you guys have rated T3 higher than Salvation to me. But you know what? To each their own, man. Like, fair enough. That's the way art is subjective. So there you go. Jasmine, I'm curious, what do you think about Salvation? because you hated T3. So what do you think about this one?
So I think I was, well, I'm more forgiving than the two people before me, than Brooks and Jelani, because coming off of T3, I was like, anything is going to be better than that movie.
Yeah.
And so that is the mindset I went into Salvation with. And I was ready to give it a chance because it was like we had no Sarah Connor, we had no T800, and I was like, so we got all new people, and we're finally in the future, and we get to see the boots on the ground and see what's going on with the Resistance and Skynet and this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, cool. Like we get to just take it to a different place. We get to see a new thing, and I really liked that. I liked that we were in a new setting. I like that we went to the future. I like that we have an adult John Connor finally. I actually liked the little pieces that we got to see of what it was like, how the humans get riled up like cattle and sent off to these things. Feels very pressing this day and age. To me, it was really interesting to see, like, this is what they were fighting against. And I think for me, this Salvation film is very much like, okay, you guys have stuck with us long enough. Like, here's a taste of the future that we've actually been fighting for since 1984. So to me, this feels more like, here is for you guys. Sorry about T3. We're going to try to do better. Okay, but they didn't do better after this movie. But to me, this one definitely feels out of sequence, yet I like it. So whether it is cinematographically a great film, I'm not so sure. But did I enjoy it? Yes, I did. I did enjoy Terminator Salvation. I like that we got to meet new characters. I like that we still got to see some semblance of an evolution of a Terminator. I liked the confusion that we got with Marcus. I liked, even though they did spoil it, I really liked that there was that question of, what am I? It reminded me, like, it's very Mass Effect to me, where it's like, you know, you got the Geth, and the Geth are like, okay, are we real? Like, you know, we were AI, but now we're sentient. Like, are we real people? So I love them posing that question, like, what am I? So for me, I enjoyed Salvation. We get new people, new setting. We get to put some of the old heads to rest for a little bit. I actually liked a lot of the characters in this one. I even like Common's character this one. Don't ask.
Common's awesome in the movie.
How many reasons? I
He's
get
in
it.
there. There was a moment where Common was in every movie, just a little bit.
Just to be a little
Yes,
bit.
just a little bit. I love him in Smoking Aces. That's a whole other conversation, though. But for me, this was such a redemption from T3, and it was just kind of like, here, we're sorry. Like, to me, I took it as an apology. So I accepted the apology. This gets a 4 out of 5 for me.
Hell yeah, Jasmine.
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about. 4 out of 5 from Jasmine, mirroring my score. So that's awesome. Suck it, Jelani and Brooks. Y'all are wrong about this. And I'm going to say,
It's McG, bruh.
this dude has hated McG ever since in the first Charlie's Angels, when that building explodes and they just get blown out. I see that dude cannot let this go, man. He still dreams about it. Wakes up in a cold
Listen, they
sweat.
get blown back. They walk. The door is in front of them. The door blows back. All 3 people fall into the windshield of a car. Not one of them is hurt. Fuck you, McG. Fuck you, McG. They should be dead.
What's funny is they do it in this. He does it in this movie too. I don't remember which character it was, but there's an explosion and they just like ride the concussive wave of the explosion out. What about you, Joe? What do you think about Terminator Salvation?
You know, I'm probably a bit more in the middle here. I think this movie's really boring. And I do not care about John and Kyle in this at all. I think they're the least interesting thing. I think Sam Worthington, like, I'm not saying I'm like not a big Sam Worthington fan, but I think that element of the movie is one of the most interesting parts of it. Like this like sort of human, like this Terminator didn't know it was a person kind of thing. Like I like that. This, I would probably, if this wasn't a franchise review, I would probably rate this a little lower because I don't think it's particularly like good movie. But when you're looking at the franchise as a whole, this expands the IP in a way that nothing else really does after 2. You know, like even 3 with the ending. I mean, it's still a continuation of the story, like that story. This is very different in that we're spending time in the actual war and all of that. You know, so you know, I'll give this a 3 out of 5.
All right. 3 out of 5, a 2.5 from Brooks, a 2 from Jelani, and a 4 from me and Jasmine. That's a PCP average of a 3.369, which is, I think, pretty solid for Terminator Salvation. All right. Then we really jump ahead here. All right. Terminator Genisys, 2015. It had a $158 million budget, made $440 million. But, of course, in 2015 money, that wasn't anything to really, like, brag about. This movie, I had never seen Terminator Genisys. Salvation was the last one I watched. I never saw Terminator Genisys, to which my friend Justin would always like tell me, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. It's not that bad. Plus, I'm in it. My buddy Justin is one of the dudes in the crowd when John Connor is doing his like speech towards the beginning of the fucking film, right? So I guess that's cool. That's cool that Justin's in the movie. You can't really see him. You can see his silhouette. That's cool. That's awesome. But man, so this was the first time I watched this movie. Dude, this movie fucking sucks. This movie's not good at all. Like, first of all, they're trying to do this thing where they're like, okay, we're going to do fan service and redo moments from the first movie that everybody knows and loves, but we're doing it differently this time because this time the Terminators or the Skynet, the machines, have sent Terminators back so far, right? And then the good guys send a Terminator back so far, it's the Arnold Terminator who winds up raising Sarah Connor so that when Kyle Reese goes back, she's already badass. It's what's her name? Amelia
Clark.
Amelia Clark,
Yeah,
right?
Amelia Clark.
Daenerys Targaryen. So she's in there. She does the whole famous line, "Come with me if you want to live." Boomerang is playing fucking Kyle Reese here. John Connor in this movie becomes the villain because Matt Smith infects him, and then Matt Smith is actually Skynet who grows. Bruh, this movie was stupid as shit. I fucking hated it. I did not like this movie. I thought there were elements of it I liked. And then I appreciate the idea. I get what they were trying to do. They were kind of like, what if we remade Terminator, but Sarah Connor was badass from the beginning? Well, let's not do a remake. Let's just fuck with the timeline. One of the things to me that's been stamped into these last 4 films has been fate. We make our own fate, but what happens, happens. And no matter what we do, when we send Kyle Reese back in the past, when we send the original T-800 back in the past, all it does is cause John Connor to happen. It's like an Oedipus type thing, right? When you try to unfulfill the prophecy, you fulfill the prophecy, right? We delay Judgment Day in part 2, but it's only a delay. You don't stop it. We see in part 3 that we get that delay. And then in part 4, Salvation, we get the complete loop. 1 through 4 to me, I could live with those 4 movies and be like 1 and 2 are badass, 3 and 4 not so much, but at least it's telling me one story that I feel is kind of cohesive. Here they're telling us that they can change the past. Really, because none of the other movies have really gotten to that, but whatever. This is for the sake of them trying to reboot this film in an age of the MCU. And you can feel that influence in this movie. Not saying it's a bad thing, but I don't think it works for Terminator. Terminator shouldn't be fun slapstick adventure. Terminator should be dark, foreboding, sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I want. That's what I come to expect. I didn't really like this. I like Jai Courtney. I like Amelia Clark. I don't think they're good in this movie. I think the guy who plays John Connor plays him just fine until he goes back and he's the villain because he's infected by Matt Smith. Why the fuck is Matt Smith in this movie? It could have been Jelani. It could have been any asshat out there, and it wouldn't have changed the movie at all, right? I hate the idea of John Connor becoming the fucking villain. I hate that. I hate it so fucking much. I also feel like this movie's trying too hard at times to be like, oh, no, Sarah Connor's badass now. Kyle doesn't know what he's doing. We're flipping the script. They're trying to do the inversion technique that James Cameron did in part 2, where no, Arnold's actually the good guy, and Robert Patrick, who might seem more friendly until he's like trying to stab you with his like liquid metal blades. I get what they're trying to do, but for me, it doesn't work. It doesn't land. And now let's talk about Arnold. You telling me. So first of all, you're telling me that John Connor, CG as fuck as he is, dies, and then like it's all like everything changes from that point forward. But then you're telling me that this Terminator goes off to get married, have a step kid, and becomes like a fucking drapery guy? What the fuck? That is so fucking stupid. I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. I will give this movie 2 you digs. I don't think the music's particularly well either. I don't really. CG's okay. Some of the action sequences are fine, but I think it tries to subvert so much and be so clever at doing it that it forgets how fucking stupid it is. 2 you digs. What about you, Jelani?
Okay, real quick, going back, I forgot in Salvation, Moonblood Good can get it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's great.
She's awesome. I love her in this movie. I love her character. I don't know why she would love Sam Worthington, but then I get it because he did save her life a couple of times. So I get it. Sorry, had to go back to that. Do you know what I hate worse than McG? Goddamn Terminator Genisys. I hate this goddamn film. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate how convoluted and stupid it is. I hate his stupid fucking CG. Everyone is miscast, including fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I don't think should be in this movie at all. I hate Sarah Connor.
And they call him fucking Pops? I'm sorry.
They call him Pops. Now, in T2, he's called Uncle Bob. So I had to think about all the movies, so I watched them backwards. So you see the names, like Dark Fate, he's Carl. He's fucking whatever, Carl. In this movie, he's Pops. In T2, he's fucking Uncle Bob. Of course, there's T800 in the first movie and T800 in the third movie. Because they don't name them. They don't even bother naming the T3. But goddamn Genisys. Genisys. Fuck you, movie. Fuck you for John Connor spoiling ass, trailer ass. Sorry, motherfuckers. That John Connor, by the way, that guy, I hate to say this, bro, but that guy's ugly as fuck. He got this big, weird head.
That dude's got a 6 head, man.
He got a 22 head. Every time I see his stupid face,
they should have cast that motherfucker as the leader, man.
He's the leader of the resistance? Like hell. They're laughing at this 6-head bastard. I hate he's the villain.
He's that fucking Jedi from Phantom Menace that you only see sitting down.
He's so awful. He's so awful in this role. John Courtney, stop making John Courtney a thing. I'm glad they did. John Courtney needs to stop being a thing. They put him in every damn thing. He's just like Sam Worthington. He's just this blank face nobody.
Y'all are really hating on the Australians
Pretty
tonight.
Boys. Pretty boys. They're just pretty boys.
He
and
hates dapper pretty
like,
boy Australians.
Just put a pretty
The only
boy.
thing Jelani hates more than pretty boy Australians is McG.
Goddamn McG, that piece of shit. Anyway, I digress. The script is poor. The music is poor. The casting is poor. So the casting director should have been fired immediately. Arnold is terrible in this. I think this may be his worst gig. My favorite character in this movie is the general. He's still stupid as fuck and still gets that's Dark Fate. That's how bad this movie is. It's so convoluted in Dark Fate. They're like mixed in together. I'm trying to remember. Genisys. The best part of the movie is the scene where her parent, Sarah Connor's parents, get killed and she's in the water, and he's like has his hand out. I wish he'd said, "Come with me if you want to live." I don't know why he didn't. I get it that he wouldn't say that, but I think that would have been good for this movie. I like that little touchstone. I hate the fact he fucking raised her. That's stupid as fuck. I'm trying to remember stuff about it because I watched it first, and that was like a week ago. So I had notes, and I left them in the car. I didn't feel like getting them. But there's so much. This is the worst of the franchise. This is the absolute, like, dog shit, worst level of bullshit. And I've seen Dark Fate. So this is so bad. I'm going to give this. This gets a 1. This is a 1. At least. No, there is no at least. It's Genisys, you spoiled. You did the cardinal rule. You goddamn spoiled the movie before I went to go see it in the goddamn trailer. Who the fuck? You killed John Connor? And make him a fucking AI thing?
You're thinking of Dark Fate, dude. This is...
No, he dies in both of these movies. He's dead.
Yeah, he's talking about how John Connor. Now, I did get confused, and I mentioned the beginning of Dark Fate talking about Genisys, but it's because both of these are just shit films, in my opinion. But they killed John Connor in both of them, technically.
Both of these movies. The John Connor is dead in both. Spoiler alert. John Connor is dead because they showed it in the fucking trailer for Genisys. Oh, yeah. And goddamn Genisys. The fucking thing itself. What the fuck is Genisys? So now it's the app. It's like Apple. So it's Apple, and it's an app, and it controls everything that we do. And
it's Skynet.
Yeah, it's no longer a weapons AI. It's like a social media thing.
It's like a social media bullshit, and you're trying to be meta with it. And I fucking hate this movie. I hate Genisys. J.K. Simmons is my favorite character in this movie. That's right. J.K. Simmons is. Did he die? Did he get killed, or he just ran off? He fell on the ground and saw a T-tape, and then that was it.
Well, this was supposed to be the start of a new trilogy. That's why there's a lot of shit brought up in this movie that doesn't get paid off. Like, who sent the original T-800 back?
Yeah.
What?
Right? And they never answered that question because they were expecting to do more movies.
Yeah, fucking Genisys. I hate that movie like I hate McG. It's so pretentious. It insists upon itself. It insists upon itself. I give it a 1. This is
a 1. All right. A 2 from me and a 1 from Jelani. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about Jin? Why is this? I like that, Jay.
Well, you know what they say. Genisys does what Nintendo don't. This movie's all right. I thought it was fine. You know, they're trying to do a new thing. They're basically kind of taking they're kind of doing like a mashup of T1 and T2 in a way, where they're kind of like where they're sliding Sarah into the John Connor role almost in a way, by having her be the kind of surrogate of having the Terminator Guardian. And, you know, I think it works sometimes, and a lot of times it doesn't. You know, it's like, I feel like, you know, it's almost got that, it almost feels like a decent Terminator movie, but it doesn't quite live up to it. You know, it feels a little bit dull. It doesn't have that, you know, Terminator shine that the first two. But yeah, I'd give this one a 3. I think it's pretty middle of the road. Not one I like, you know, you could take or leave this one, to be honest, as far as
So you tell me you think T3 and Genisys are better than Salvation?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. All right, Jasmine, what about you? What do you think about Genisys?
This is my least favorite.
I don't understand how anybody puts T3 above anything else that's part of this franchise. Like, I cannot wrap my mind around that piece.
It's got better lore. This is just fan service. This is just weak cash grab fan service. Remember this? Remember T800? Remember T1000? Remember he was Asian? Remember this?
Hey, bro, this Skynet has 16 bits, dude.
God damn it. Oh, I hate this goddamn piece of shit. God damn it. Sorry, Jasmine.
I don't hate Genisys the way that you guys hate Genisys. I like some of the over-the-top nods back to the first couple of films. The thing that I disliked the most about this film, I thought Emilia Clarke was severely miscast. I do not think that she was a good Sarah Connor. And for the life of me, I can't understand why I'm okay with the T-800 going back in time to protect John Connor, but the idea of the T-800 going back in time to raise Sarah Connor, that was a step too far for me. I was just like, wait a minute, hold on here. He's a family man. He couldn't even smile before. And of course they make that reference in this film where she's like, I'm teaching him how to be more human. And he smiles, the god awful smile of his. But like, I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that they reprogrammed a T-800. If it was a different model, that could be a different story. I could maybe get behind it. But like, historically, the T-800s were not the models that you put all of that kind of tech into. So who the fuck would have reprogrammed a T-800 to be a dad? Like that part.
I don't know. We're never going to find out, Jasmine.
It didn't make any sense. I did not like that part. I did like some of the action set pieces that we had. I thought the disorienting piece about Kyle Reese being like a bumbling idiot was kind of funny. Just because it turned the entire beginning of the franchise on its head. But like, I don't.
He's too big to be Kyle Reese.
I don't know if I don't know if I liked what we did to John Connor. Like we literally, at this point, we had literally spent 30 years thinking that John Connor is the leader of the resistance. And then you guys come in with fucking the doctor to be like, haha, just kidding. I'm going to infect you with Skynet. And I'm just like, what is happening here? So even though all of those things are really weird, I don't know. There's something about this film. It kind of like made me think like maybe we can right the ship. Dark Fate did not come close to that at all. But
sure.
I mean, 2.5. I'm not saying it's like a cinematic masterpiece, but I definitely enjoyed it more than I did T3.
All right, a 2.5 from Jasmine. What about you, Joe?
You know, again, like I think like my rating, if this wasn't a franchise review, would be different. Yeah. But because it's a franchise review and because it's a complete dead end, you can literally pluck this movie out and it affects nothing because it ties to nothing. It's its own offshoot. Like I'm giving this a 0.5. It adds nothing to the franchise. Nothing they did in it carries on to anything else. They're never going to revisit any of this ever. The idea of John Connor, you know, becoming like this different kind of Terminator, like none of that is ever going to be referenced again. They're going to act like this never happened. If they took it off streaming and generations of people forgot about this movie, it will affect nothing. Nothing's lost. Like it's not a good enough movie. Like it might technically be better than T3, but you can at least watch 1, 2, and then 3, and like you're getting an experience. Like Genisys is just so.
Genisys was one of those movies, like that original Fantastic Four film that never got released. Yeah. Paramount made Genisys because Paramount wanted to keep the Terminator rights, period. Yeah. That is the only reason that Genisys got made. Paramount was like, we are not releasing the rights back to anybody else. Like, we have to make a film. And they had a certain time frame to make that film. So that is why we got Genisys. Yeah. So technically, you're right, Joe. They were just like, okay, we just got to put something out there.
Yeah, because like I think it might be like a better directed and better looking movie than T3, and there's other elements to it that I think work better. But as a franchise review, this being not great and a dead end, I'm just going with a 0.5.
You ain't wrong.
All right, a 0.5 from Joe, a 2 from me, a 1 from Jelani, a 3 from Brooks, and a 2.5 from Jasmine. We're all over the place, but all low. So that's a PCP average of like 1.967, right? Yeah, it's sure. So far the lowest rated out of all of the Terminator films.
That's not the worst option to be the lowest rated. There's worse options.
I think there are worse options. We might be about to talk about one. So in 2019, James Cameron gets the rights to Terminator back. He had lost the rights after 2. had nothing to do with 3, 4, or 5, but he is a producer and he gets a story credit on this one, along with like 8 other fucking people. So like, don't think that this is James Cameron's fucking vision. He gave it to Tim Miller, who was off the hot success of Deadpool, right? And they bring back Linda Hamilton, and in typical 2019 fashion, it jumps onto the trend. And here's the thing. Terminator 1 and 2 set trends. 3, 4, 5, and 6 all try to mimic trends, right? And that's something that really hinders this as a franchise whole. For the most part, like, people have been giving me these snarky comments. Terminator franchise, what are you going to talk about 1 and 2 and that's it? Actually, we probably should have. That would have been a great 1-2 double feature punch, a great conversation. We could have dived in, but instead we get Dark Fate. So James Cameron is back. He brings Linda Hamilton back, and just in 2019, typical trend fashion, what if we did a sequel to the original 2, forgetting all of the other sequels? So James Cameron and company, Tim Miller, and the rest are telling us that none of the other Terminators happen. This is a direct sequel to 2. It starts with us being told that John Connor gets killed by a Terminator, who then grows up to become he falls in love and marries this woman, has a stepkid. I got that confused in Genisys. In Genisys, it was the one who got sent back and became Pops. But that, to me, is dumb as shit. All right. Then, I hate this movie. I really do. I think it's the worst Terminator movie. I really do. So I watched Genisys, and I was like, all right. That was pretty bad. Let's go ahead and watch Dark Fate. Surely it's better because James Cameron's back. Linda Hamilton's in there. Let's see. Bruh, I hated this movie so much. It was the weakest of the series. I fucking hated it. It's just replaying the bits, but instead of John Connor, it's this other woman. I guess we never really understood why John Connor was so important, aside from just being told that he is. But at least then we're shown a little bit. We're not really shown or told too much about why this chick is like so important to the resistance at this point. I guess she's just the next man up or something. So there's that. Then the woman who sent the augmented human who was sent back.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And I thought Linda Hamilton was fucking bad in this movie too. Like, I wanted her to be badass like she was in Terminator 2 or the end of the first film, but we didn't get that. To me, it was just lackluster. It was stupid. I hated it. It was just replaying Terminator 2 in a different fucking way. And this time, I keep thinking that the ultimate evolution of the Terminator is the T-1000. They keep downgrading it in every fucking movie. They're like, well, what if it was a mechanical Terminator with liquid metal over it? Well, I think you're downgrading already from the T-1000. That was like a perfect fucking model. All right, well, what if we have a human who's like part Terminator and doesn't realize it? Really? What good is that to do? And then in part fucking 5, what do we get? We just get more of the T-1000 who's like taken out really fucking quickly. And then you get all this other bullshit thrown in there. And in this one, they're like, oh yeah? Well, what if there's an endoskeleton and a liquid metal shell and they can split into 2 different fucking people? Am I supposed to be fucking impressed? In 2019, hell, in 2025, watching Dark Fate, is that supposed to be like, dude, they really topped the T-1000 this time? No! This movie fucking sucks. It's the worst of the franchise. Congratulations. You made a fucking movie and you ruined a franchise. One you dig. What about you, Jelani?
Yeah, of course. Fuck this movie. This movie is absolutely trash. It should have never been made. They spoil it in the cardinal rule. Don't spoil your movie in the trailer, you assholes. Don't bring back Edward Furlong to fucking murder him in the goddamn fucking, and then put it on the fucking goddamn goddamn fucking. I hate this movie. I never wanted to see this movie. I never wanted to see it. I never wanted to talk about it. I never wanted to discuss it. It's kind of like Cats to me. I never wanted to see this bullshit. I was like, it's that trope that they were trying to pull off. They were like, women can do it better and all this other shit. When it's just like, you made Sarah Connor and you brought Sarah Connor back and she sucks. And like, you made her suck. And then you made the lady the leader of the resistance, but she sucks. And then, like, you bring the girl back from the augment program into the future as the new Kyle Reese, and she sucks. And you got a trio of just ignorant, stupid people running around trying to. The general was my favorite part in this movie, and he still got shot. And I was like, God damn it.
And it confirms my suspicion that there are Terminators dropping from the fucking sky every goddamn 20 minutes, man. You know what I'm saying?
They're coming all the time. Like, didn't you beat Skynet? Didn't John? He beat Skynet. Skynet didn't even happen. They're talking about, Judgment Day is inevitable. It goes back to T3. Judgment Day is inevitable. So instead of Skynet, we got Legion. And Legion is this derivative of fucking Skynet. The movie is derivative. It is nothing, Burger. I hate the fact that I had to watch it. Genowises, I hate Genowises. I hate it with all my soul because it's just, remember this? Remember that? You like this, don't you? Oh, God, you like this too. We gonna tweak it. You like tweaking stuff? Oh, Bill Paxton died. He couldn't come back for the role. We're gonna do that same scene again. You like that shit, don't you? Don't you? I know you do. Fuck Dark Fate. I'm going to give that also. No, it is lower. It is the worst. Nah, it is the worst. Genowises is bad because it insults my intelligence. Dark Fate insults my intelligence and then pees on me and tells me I'm enjoying it. You're supposed to like this movie. Fuck you, Tim Miller. You're a piece of shit. You're like almost in the same realm as McG, except McG is more pretentious. You at least you didn't call yourself McTim or T or some stupid pretentious ass bullshit name like goddamn McG, you stupid piece of fucking shit. I give this a 0.5 too. This is 0.5. This is the worst. This is more. No. Is 0.5 what I gave to fucking Hellraiser? Hellraiser bullshit. What was Hellraiser bullshit?
You talking about which one? Revelation or Judgment? Brooks. One of those, the shitty ones?
It was the one where they were trapped in the house.
Brooks, what's the shitty Hellraiser film?
One by one.
That's Revelation.
Revelation.
What?
Yeah, Revelation.
What did I give that? I gave that a point. Yeah, it was 0.5 too. Yeah, it's about there with that too. Because it just hurts. It hurts me that they keep trying to make Terminator when Terminator should just die. T2 was the last week. We should just stop there, let our lives just the fact that it happened. You'll never get James Cameron back. You're not going to get that magic back. You could remake Terminator. And do something cool and put a Predator in it or something else. We need another element now, or something else, or we just stop and just don't do it anymore. In fact, Hollywood, please stop making cash grabs. Just make. You can make new stuff. Make like produce 10 good movies that aren't associated with a property. Just take someone's script that's good, and you're like, this is decent. Let's just do that.
No way.
And let's make some small money first. And I know. And then I gotta also say this: DC Studios, listen, you ain't gotta put everything in your movies, okay? You ain't gotta catch up to Marvel, all right? Do an Iron Man first. Do an Iron Man, then do a Captain America, then do a Thor. That's what you do. You do your Superman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, and you make your movie, okay? You do that. But also put some new shit out that doesn't involve any of that. Make me some money and let that little build money. And that's how you build it up to Avengers. And then you get your Justice League movie. And that's how you do it. Okay, you don't do Batman v Superman and shove everything.
All right. Well, now you're
That's
just
what
repeating
we're
your
saying.
thoughts on the DC universe 10 years ago. But
No.
so you give the 0.5 to Dark Fate, is what you're saying.
Fuck this movie.
What about you, Brooks? Where are you sitting on Dark Fate?
This movie's all right. Like I didn't hate it as much as you guys, obviously. Like it's still not very good.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck, man?
But
what the fuck?
I feel like it's like, you know, it's too dark. Is the thing about it. It's like it's such a downer.
It's supposed to be.
And,
trying to make it dark like the first Terminator. They sucked at it. God damn it, bro.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Let me talk about the fucking movie. God damn. It's not that bad. It's not good either. It's, you know, it's another one you could skip. But you know, I think it had some ideas that were interesting, but you know, it just wasn't executed well. So yeah, I'd give this one a 3 too. I still think it's better than Salvation in a way, but it kind of has the same problem with Salvation, where it's, you know, it's kind of dull. You know.
Hold on, man.
You can come back now.
You think Dark Fate's better than Salvation, man?
I don't understand you at all, Brooks. Not at all.
Sorry,
I am
Brooks.
here for Brooks. I am here for the Brooks content.
Sorry, Brooks.
A lot of us are here
love
for the
this.
Brooks content, man.
Yes.
I fucking love it. All right, a 3 you digs from Brooks. What about you, Jasmine? What are you thinking about Dark Fate?
Okay, Dark Fate. First of all, if we beat Skynet, why did we as humans then turn around and create a new cyber warfare suite and then call it Legion and then get upset when it also does the same shit that Skynet is going to do? And the entire time I was like, we don't deserve this planet. Like, if this is what we're going to keep doing to ourselves, we should just let the Terminators win. Because why? Like, if you've been fighting these guys since 1984, and now you finally found in some future, somewhere down the line, 2029, I don't know, you beat them. And then you decide, you know what we need? You know what we need to make sure this doesn't happen again? More AI. We need more. We need a better cyber warfare suite than Skynet. And it's just like, you got to be shitting me. You got to be shitting me. We did this to ourselves. So that's my first problem with this movie. My second problem, the Rev 9 is way too OP. Like, that thing is absurd. It's absurd. It's absurd. It splits into 2, and both of them are really hard to beat. And it's just like, this is just not fair. Like, how are the humans even supposed to have a chance when you have this super overpowered Terminator that comes in? And that pissed me off. So it was just like, it's one of those films where it's already dystopian. We're already like on the shit end of the stick. And then you're like, oh, by the way, like, in case it wasn't bad enough, now the one Terminator splits into 2 Terminators. You're welcome. And also humans created another thing. We defeated Skynet. But now there's another thing called Legion. And it's just like, if I were Sarah Connor, I'd be like, y'all, like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not helping y'all do shit. But because I did not like T3, and T3 is my least favorite, I cannot rate Dark Fate lower than I rated T3. So therefore, Dark Fate has to be rated at a 2, since I rated T3 at a 1.5.
All right, 2 you digs from Jasmine. What about you, Joe? What are you thinking?
Okay, I don't know why I'm the first one to say this. Like, man, fuck this movie for like killing off John Connor like immediately. Like, that scene sucked. Like, it was a shitty scene. It was like the way they did it too. It's just like, you know, Linda Hamilton's just like, oh, what? Whoa! You're like, what? Like, this person who has been spending all of these years fighting and training for this is just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, we're just hanging out now. And like, I get that they were trying to be like, you know, they averted the apocalypse, but at the same time, it's like, even if we're just counting the first 2 movies, it's like a Terminator came back another time, like more than the one time. Like, you would think a crazy person like her would be like, wouldn't just be like, oh, thank God, now I don't have to care about anything anymore.
Well, we all let our guards down at a tiki bar, Joe. Right?
Well, sure. But like, it was so stupid. It's a stupid movie. You have Grace. It's like, I augmented myself, but like, if I get in a fight with something that's hard for more than a minute, I just die. And it's like, is this really an upgrade for a person? Like, you couldn't think of a way to maybe, like, I don't know, create fancy weapons that you maybe encase in some sort of flesh you can peel off when you get to, like, where you time travel instead, maybe? I don't know. Maybe
I mean, even in John Wick, they have bulletproof suits. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I'm augmented, so I'm a lot better than everyone, except I die without a lot. And if you rip this thing out of me, I also die, even if everything else about me is fine. And I'm really going to win over the audience by being really shitty to Linda Hamilton the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like,
That is also a piece
so
of shit.
shitty to Linda
She's
Hamilton.
insufferable, bro.
I hate
it. No, Grace fucking sucks. And again, like everyone was saying, it's like, but why is this girl the girl that they're saving important? And like, why are we suffering through the same fucking beats from the first two movies of having to watch another girl or boy or whatever being like, I gotta call my dad. Your dad's dead. No, like, I'm like, we've done this. We did this in both movies. The first two movies did that with her mom, and then the foster parents in the second one. Like, why do we have to relive the most boring parts of Terminator in this movie? And just
they should have brought Butnick back, man.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's just the same shit again of just like slightly different. And why it's like you have this new company. Why is this new company designing Terminators that look exactly like the Skynet Terminators? What's the point? If you're going to have a new company, at least change the design a bit, change the approach a bit. Wouldn't it have been maybe a little cooler to, instead of send back an android, maybe you're sending back something that causes some sort of plague or some sort of like,
oh, that's a good idea.
This
is my favorite comment of the night, by the way. Cannabis.
Yeah.
Cannabis saying Skynet wearing a mask. It's like, like you pull the mask off at the end. He's like, I would have gotten away with it too.
Yeah, but and it's just like, all right. And then it's the stupid, like, remember in T1 where she drives away in the Jeep and all that. And it's just that again with this girl that they don't even really like or understand each other. And they're like, I guess we're working together now because I don't fucking know. There's just trauma. And I guess that, Sarah Connor's been pardoned and never has to hide out anymore after the events of this movie, even though they made it very clear that the one guy was putting his neck out to help her out. And,
well, she didn't want to cross the border. She had to at least there's, I can't see the right. I mean,
but then she just stays there, and it's just like, what are we fucking doing? What a miserable waste of everyone's time. And again, like the Rev 9 just sucks. It's just like,
but it splits into two, Joe.
It's the equivalent.
It was a shadow clone jutsu, dude.
But it's the equivalent of your play fighting with like friends in like elementary school or something, and it's just like, oh well, you can't do that because I have a shield, or whatever. It's like that kind of bullshit of just like, and here's another Terminator, but it's cooler than the first and the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth Terminator. It's really cool, and it's like two Terminators, so it's like twice as cool. Like, that is what this movie feels like.
And Jay, be careful with your comments, man, because Hollywood's listening. That's probably what the next Terminator film is.
Yeah, no, it is just It's
Yeah.
it is holy shit with this movie. Just like, what's the point? Why did we bring back Linda Hamilton? She's so old. And it's like, why does this poor old woman have to keep firing guns at giant killer
Because
robots?
no one else is stepping up, Joe. No one else is stepping up to the plate, okay?
And she's like, I gotta get help from Arnold, who's very old, and two very old people, and the scrawniest white bitch you ever met are gonna take out this Rev 9. And you're just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then they're like, I guess we're gonna have a big fight in a factory again, because all these fucking movies have to end with a big stupid fight in a factory after there's a chase with a Terminator driving a truck, because they have to drive a truck in every one of these goddamn movies. And everyone has to, it was funny because Arnold says he won't be back. He's not going to be back this time.
And the best decision he ever made.
And then stupid fighting on like the plane. And it's like, how when like the plane's open in the back, you can just kind of casually walk around like while the plane's flying, and like you don't have to like try to do it. You're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, just it's so stupid, and it keeps getting stupider. And then like you meet Arnold, and he's just like, well, I don't fuck this girl, and you're just like, is this happening?
Our relationship is not physical, but she likes how I tell jokes.
Like, I'm like, is this a Terminator movie? Am I watching like an actual? It's not just a bad fanfic. It's like
this is an SNL skit at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like,
don't tell my not wife who I don't fuck that I'm a robot. Like, what? That's where this movie is going. Like, we were leading up to that, and then Sarah Connor just being miserable and being like, I'm gonna kill you even though I met a good Arnold once, and we kept that movie in canon. Like, really? Really, we're doing that? Like, and then and this movie thinks you're so fucking stupid that it goes like, we're gonna look, guys, you're not gonna believe this. In this writer's room, they were like, we're gonna have Sarah say, I'm never gonna call you Carl. And then, wait for it, at the end of the movie, when she calls out for Carl, he magically comes back to life and saves everybody. And they were like, that's appropriate for a big budget Hollywood movie that James Cameron's name's on, and not for a fourth grader's fucking book report. That should be in a movie. And they did it, and they filmed it, and they all said those lines, and then it made it into the editing room, and they watched it, and they were like, look at this setup payoff. This movie has layers. Like, what an embarrassment. What a deep embarrassment, made even more embarrassing by James Cameron coming back and tying his name to it. And poor Linda Hamilton, who was so fucking good in these movies, she should have had a career more like Sigourney Weaver, and she didn't. And it's a real shame. And the movies they do fucking call her back for are awful movies like this. Linda Hamilton deserves a lot better. I'll give this movie a 1, I guess. Fuck it, whatever.
It's not Jim Weiss's.
Like, it's at least it's technically still in continuity until something else happens. So
I think we have to wait 2 more years to find out. They are in talks for a Terminator 7, and supposedly
No.
Cameron and Schwarzenegger are talking about it.
No.
Fuck me, man.
Also, Cena. I've heard Cena be attached to this Terminator 7.
Well, he could make a good Terminator. He make a good Terminator. But I still want to see that movie.
I hope they keep making Terminator films, man, because I want to hear a rant like we just got from Joe again. That's what I want to say. I love how he's like, Terminator 3 fucking blows, 1.5. Terminator Salvation is not as good as you think, Robbie. Fucking 1.5. Terminator 5 sucks. But Terminator 6 just got under Joe's skin just enough.
It's just, imagine you're trying to win people back in really anything. It doesn't even have to be a Terminator movie. It could be any movie. It could literally be any franchise. You want to win people back, and you fucking have Arnold Schwarzenegger murder John Connor.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if it's not Terminator. If you're trying to win anyone over and be and do that, like, that's it. For anything.
They ruined the first thing that happens in the movie is he dies. Why?
Yeah.
Why? There's no.
Why? So that's a 1 for me and Joe. Jasmine, you gave it a what? Did you give it a 1? A 2. A 2. All right. Jelani gave it a 0.5. Brooks gave it a 3.
Jesus.
So that's a PCP average of 1.5, 2, 3, a 1.4. Just go with that. We'll just go with that. It's like, definitely the worst one. I think we all agree on that for the most part.
The worst one.
So yeah, there you go. It seems like after 2.5 hours, we think Terminator 1 and 2 are good. We're split on 3 and 4. But 5 and 6 suck, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's more or less where we got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we did this Terminator review.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was really fun.
Sure.
Yeah. Joe, I want to know real quick. What's the better franchise, this or Police Academy?
I feel like
what's the more consistent franchise? I guess I should say.
God, don't say it. Like, I don't know, like throwing consistency in. I don't know. I feel like, like I really wish I had time to really think about this before just being put on the spot like that. But if I had to go with something, my gut says Terminator would be the stronger of the two.
Okay, Jelani.
I really want to think about it.
Jelani, Police Academy or Terminator?
Terminator, because T1 and T2 exist.
Brooks? Yeah, Police Academy or Terminator?
Yes.
Terminator. Yeah, Terminator.
Jasmine, I know you weren't here for the Police Academy franchise.
I think
review,
like the later Police Academy movies are worse than.
I don't know, man. I
think I've only seen the 3rd Police Academy movie.
Okay. I would recommend all 6 of them. Was there 6 of them or there 7? They were fucking 7. Are you telling me they made more Police Academy movies than they made Terminator movies, man?
No, not yet. There's another Terminator coming out. It'll catch up.
But by then, we'll have Police Academy 8 that starts. I'm hearing the rumors. The Police Academy 8 starts with Steve Guttenberg showing up and killing Jonesy. Like, first thing, and like, it's just... Anyway, I should have said John Connor showing up and killing Steve Guttenberg is what I should have fucking said. Officer Mahoney. Yeah. Anyway, hey, by the way, we did a Police Academy franchise review a couple years back. You should check it out. It's a rather popular video on the channel. So we
Steve Guttenberg is in more Police Academy movies than Linda Hamilton is in Terminator.
Damn! You ain't lying.
That is true. That is
true. Wow.
All right. Thus brings an end to our Terminator franchise review and an end to Actionfest 2025. It's been great. We are off for the next 2 weeks on PCP Movie Night because we're getting ready for Horror Fest. Horror Fest starts here on the channel August 18th. We get 2.5 movies or 2.5 months of horror movies. And it all starts with the Candyman franchise. That's Candyman 1, 2, and 3. And then it's not a reboot. It's kind of like in continuity, but the 4th. All 4 Candyman movies reviewed here on August 18th. The next 2 Mondays, we're going to be off. So watch some Candyman movies, watch some Chucky movies, get ready. We're ready to go. But I'm starting Horror Fest just a little bit early. I'll be over at Blood Splatter Chatter on Thursday night to talk about Blood and Black Lace. That's right, the Mario Bava film that will be right after our episode of the monthly comic book review, which we are going to be dropping on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, the PCP 10th Anniversary Special. Be here or be square. That's what we got coming up. Jelani, final thoughts? What you got coming up? I'll be back and all that shit. Whatever you want. Whatever famous quote you want to say from the movies, go for it.
Are you Sarah Connor? Yeah, that's all I got. I was gonna say at the beginning too. I was gonna be like, no, I'm not Sarah Connor, so don't shoot me. Great review. I really hate. I went ahead and I'm glad I watched Dark Fate and Genisys first, and just got them out of the way. So watching them backwards was really helpful.
I wish I did what you did, man. You took my strategy from the Karate Kid franchise review and watched them in backwards order, and I think that would have helped me.
I had to rip the Band-Aid off, man. It was. I haven't seen them. I need to see them pieces of shit first and get them out the way, so I have memories like I did when I ended with Terminator. So it worked out. Oh, damn you, Fable. Anyway, Brooks and I do this show called Go Figure Reviews. We're up to 700 or so subscribers at this point. We are having a giveaway. It is called either you get hashtag Max Spidey or hashtag Go Lion in those videos, and you will get them if you win. It's up to 70 comments. It needs to be 70 comments to qualify. If you can't do that, I'm going to keep them and give them to charity or something. Because, I mean, God, just comment on the video. You're killing me. We also did a Club Grayskull Shirella video. This is Brooks's figure. He's a part of the Club Grayskull. She's pretty awesome. She is a bow and arrow kind of lady. You got to join the club to get there. So there's Hero, and then there's going to be an Eldor soon.
Got to be in the club, man.
Yeah, got to be in the club. And then we also reviewed, of course, our Psylocke and Thanos 2-pack. This pain in the ass 2-pack. This pain in the absolute ass. Which, by the way, Brooks, your boy got it. Chris got that 2-pack for you. So hit me up and see how you want to, get that arranged. But watch this video. It's awesome. It's got a lot of Psylocke cake. So watch that too. And, thanks guys for watching our videos. And, get out there, of course, and go figure.
Hell yeah. Brooks, thank you for being here. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, when you first revealed that I was a Terminator in the beginning of this video, I was like, oh man, now I'm terminating. Before, fortunately for you, I was sent back for Nintendo Skynet, and you shat on Genisys, so I can let everybody live. It's all good.
Thanks,
all
bro.
right. Nice. Well, thank you for being here, man. Y'all enjoy your
welcome.
2 weeks off. Get ready for Horror Fest, man. Jasmine, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Very excited that you got to join us for this exciting franchise review. What you got coming up? I know y'all got a lot coming up, right?
Yeah, so I'm the better half of Geeks Unleashed. We are on the road to episode 200, which would be 5 years of podcasting for us, which is really exciting. So we're a couple of episodes away from that. Our episode 200 is going to be a really fun one. Mark and I are each bringing one of our favorite films of all time, and we're battling against each other. And then we're kind of letting a panel decide who had the better argument for their film. So really looking forward to episode 200. You can get us wherever you get your podcast. And we are actually taking the whole month of August off. We're still going to have our podcast episodes coming through, but taking the month of August off, we're going to be restructuring our podcast, and we're going to be dabbling in YouTube a bit more. So you guys are going to be able to catch us on YouTube pretty soon coming up here.
Heck yeah. Jasmine, always a pleasure. Joe, I appreciate you, man. Your rant on Dark Fate was my favorite moment of the night. Aside from Cannabis telling us about Skynet wearing a mask. Like this shit cracks me up for some reason. Because they did that in Genisys, then they did it in Dark Fate. It's just like, oh, I'm actually Skynet. Did you like, whoa. Anyway, final thoughts, man. What you got coming up, bro?
Well, I actively have a Kickstarter running right now for a one-shot called Sink to the Top, a 24-page queer comic book thriller. We are already about 55 backers, a little over $2,000. We're looking to raise 3,500. We've still got a little over 3 weeks. So please, if you're so inclined, check out the campaign. I'm really proud of the work I'm doing on this with artist Chase Bluestone. We did an update today where we posted the full finished first page with lettering and everything, so people can check that out to get a taste of what the book's going to look like. It's one of Chase's favorite pages that he's ever done so far. I think it's an incredible page, and there's going to be a lot more of that throughout the book, so consider checking it out.
Heck yeah, man. And Joe and I had like an almost 3-hour conversation talking about Sink to the Top and a bunch of other shit, so definitely check that out if you missed it. And here on the channel, like I said, we're off for the next 2 weeks, but Horror Fest starts August 18th with the Candyman franchise. You can join me on Thursday night over at Blood Splatter Chatter to talk about Blood and Black Lace. And I will also be here Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, with a plethora of guests to celebrate 10 years of pop culture philosophers. All right, we're dipping it out. And for my final thought, I'll just say, hasta la vista, baby.